welcome to episode 223. Running right into them, man. We're 37 away.
I know.
You have the countdown. I got the calendar, just marking it off.
Man, trying to line up all the guests already.
Yeah. All the last 20 state champions.
Man,
if they're alive.
They I think they probably could be, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about God's country today.
Yes, the Fort Wayne semi-state,
the Great Northeast.
The day 3 of 4. So, not too much of a pre-show this time. It was Series 1 baseball card day. Jose Canseco autograph, green.
And you got a free shot of steroids with that, right?
Yeah, yes. And a George Brett autograph. So,
and you got pine tar all the way up to the barrel. So,
yep, pine tar and steroids.
Yeah, you got a controversial
good.
Man, you're I don't know. I was trying to think of someone else controversial I could throw in there away from having the
like a Roger Clemens or a
Barry.
Barry what, Zito?
No, Barry Bonds.
Oh, Barry Bonds. Okay.
Barry Bonds got a little controversy.
There's a Barry Zito autograph though too.
They're just letting any old cheaters in now. Carlos Beltran got in, so I don't know why. You listen to the baseball portion of our podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, they let Carlos Beltran in, who's a cheater. He took the
garbage cans.
The garbage cans. He was the ringleader of that. So I guess we're just letting any cheat. And I thought he was accused of using steroids at some point too.
Yeah. They The people in the know say that there are people that did steroids that are in the hall. So,
dude, I bet there's,
and I don't know. It was legal then. None of the guys that did get caught. So anyway, Ohtani is pretty good. Yes, very good.
He's pretty good, man. Like he does some things that are just ridiculous that other dudes on the planet can't do. He's the fastest guy. He throws the hardest.
Yeah,
he can hit 50 homers.
When he was with the Angels, when he played the doubleheader where he pitched a shutout 9 innings and then hit 2 home runs. Was it 2 or 3? 2. It's 2 home runs in the nightcap in the doubleheader. We were at that game. Those 2 games. That's pretty crazy. It was what can't that guy do?
He might be a good dude, but he had some dirty too, right? Can't just bet on baseball. Oh, my boy was actually betting on baseball. I forgot how to speak English then. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's yeah. If you ever hear that they were talking to one of the guys that the bookie or whatever, and he was really bad. Whoever was doing it was really bad.
Yeah. Man, I don't know if he's better than Bonds. The year that he was supposed to be on designer steroids, that was an unbelievable year. Not just because he hit 78, 73 homers, something stupid. He walked the most in baseball that year too.
Yeah,
intentionally walked, was a multiple-time Gold Glove left fielder. He's unreal. Recency bias on Ohtani, yeah, maybe. Ohtani's had a good run, but you want to see the consistency, right? Over a 10-year window.
Yeah,
dude.
50-50 season. Ohtani does it in a way that no one can even match it with being able to be. He's an ace pitcher and he's your best bat.
Yeah, I wonder if obviously he was able to do that coming up through Japan. I wonder if there was other guys that were on that level. I know there's dudes that throw 100. You look at a guy like Fernando Tatis, right? Fernando Tatis, his arm from the outfield is unreal.
Yeah.
Bonds was the greatest season ever. You couldn't even you're walking dudes with the bases loaded. There's a good chance you're the dude. And just because he's kind of a jerk too. Yeah, we are.
Yeah. We're just letting people we're building up the suspense here. It's called and you know what? I've heard Bonds has a legendary birthday. Yeah, from what I've gathered. It's also the day that IPO registration opens up every year.
Oh man, at IndianaMat fan, Bryce Harper could have been. Bryce Harper threw smoke. He was a good catcher. He hit nukes. Obviously injuries have taken its toll on him too.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Bron's still, like what does he have? 500 stolen bases, 500 homers. He's like
Yeah,
he's like one of the only guys in like the 500 club, which is wild. Um, I think my favorite Barry Bonds story. They said like Mick Foley, the WWE wrestler, like he was gonna throw out the first pitch at like a Giants game, and he was wearing like I forgot whatever Negro League. It might have been the Kansas City Monarchs jersey. It was a Satchel Paige jersey pop, And he's there, and like this guy, like Barry Bonds had his own area, like he would stretch by himself because he didn't want to be part of the team because he was, kind of a jerk, and like obviously those tales are pretty legendary. And the guy's like, "Oh man, you would love that jersey. Barry would love that jersey." And he's like, "Oh okay." He's like, "Yeah, he's in his like training like room. You should go talk to him." He said Mick Foley said he walked in there and Barry Bonds like just stretching, didn't even like look up. He's like, "Hey, Brian over there said he thought you would dig the jersey." He looks up, he's like, "Yep." And he's like, "This dude don't know who I am, dude. It doesn't even matter, dude. It's whatever." So he's like, I go to turn away, and Barry Bonds turns and goes, "Hey Mick, hell in the cell, man. Hell in the cell." So for all you non-WWE fans, probably one of the wildest matches ever where I felt like that was like one of the times, I mean, outside of like obviously like Owen Hart being in a match, but like I thought someone was actually going to die in a match.
yeah.
And that was like prime when I was a little kid, like watching wrestling, probably like, 16 years old, watching a guy go through a cage, tacks in his nose, teeth in his face. And it's pretty wild.
Yeah. I think Mick Foley's coming to Fort Wayne for the like WWE night. I want to say
him and Taker, man. They got like man, they do these like Vice, like on Vice TV, these like Dark Side of the Rings. Like, dude, I get addicted to those. I go down these like wormholes of like YouTube videos and all kinds of nonsense. So
that was this past year. He was here. He was in the Wayne, and we are talking about, man, what a transition right into.
There it is.
Ooh, Robbie DeVanner, man, legends are in here.
He's a Cactus Jack fan, man. I think he's from like Bloomington. He was born in Bloomington, right?
Yeah.
Mankind, Mick Foley.
Mankind. Well, it depends on what person. I mean, all the personalities were born in different areas, right?
Yeah. Well, I think Cactus Jack was like, what was it like New Mexico or something, like even wherever he was born. But I really do think Mick Foley, the human being, was born in Bloomington, Bloomington, Indiana. I think he wrestled with Kevin James, right?
He might have
the King of Queens.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're talking Fort Wayne semi-state, the best semi-state in my personal, unbiased opinion. So.
I've never been, so I don't know if that's true or not.
It's a nice, comfortable place. You can stretch out, comfortable padded seats. It's like it gets a little cold on the floor because they have the planks or whatever over the ice, so it can get kind of cold down there. So you don't as the great Paul Voigt would say, you don't want to warm up on the ice. You want to do your stuff off to the side so you don't get cold. Trick, just a little tip there. Hospitality room's horrible, but they do have good food. They have food there. Obviously, it's a little pricier, so you gotta pick and choose. They do let the kids bring in food. Coliseum. That's where we host IPO. Nice place.
They used to not do that at Maryville. You could not bring a cooler into Maryville.
Woo!
Brett Smith's talking my language, boys.
Yeah, Showgirls. You know what Showgirls' biggest week is?
IPO, I guess.
No, I have not. I guess it might be, but it's when they have the farm show in Fort Wayne that week.
We went to IPO one year. I was surprised at the amount of gentlemen's clubs up and down that strip. I didn't know Fort Wayne was getting down like that. Two, Ken Hughes and I were running the streets, and we couldn't find any establishments to serve us. So we were actually in the dude. We got like a ride from a gas station back to our hotel and like a power washer. Oh, you can bring knives. They weren't patting you down. No coolers. Zero
for coolers.
I would say I'm gonna go out on a limb and say there was no guns there. Like, but man, but if there was, I think there'd be some shootings. There was a lot of tension in that air.
Yes.
So How much tension is in the
And it
air?
wouldn't be over the wrestler; it'd be over someone taking their seat.
Oh, 100%. You got up to go get. I mean, I know Maggers told that story. Dude, we've lived it. Like, you get up to go get warm, dude. You might have just lost the last match of your career, and you're going back up there, and someone's like, "Ain't moving." I don't know why they were like, dude. That was the strict. They were so strict on coolers. I have no clue why. Like, cooler. I mean, I guess coolers take up a lot of room. Maybe. I no clue. Otis Spunkemeyer cookies though, decent. They got some decent cookies there. It was the only thing on the menu I would grab.
Did they not have like the field house that's like right next door?
They do.
I mean, I know they do now, but did they have that for a while?
Oh, they've always had it. Like, yeah, that's always been there, but they didn't. It
like,
was just.
why wouldn't they make that like
it's kind of far though.
Area?
I mean, what they do? What?
I said, why wouldn't they make that like a team camp area or something, and you could just
Home
go.
field advantage, bro. Basketball got to play somewhere. I don't know. I never. I wasn't asking those questions. It was, it was a pretty tense ordeal. Those guys didn't like to answer questions. They didn't like media. They didn't like criticism. They didn't like leg room. They didn't like. That was where like the infamous keep the bus running post came from, just so we can get some more seats.
Yes.
But dude, it was cool. I know Nick wrestled there. It was a cool atmosphere. They're probably, dude, man, they're probably 1,000 seats short, honestly. Like maybe like 800, 600 seats short. But it was jam packed. They were pushing the limits. East Chicago's not as that, but it's not as electric either. Does Fort Wayne get pretty electric when things are going, or?
It can be, but it's such a the one drawback is it's such a big arena. I mean, it's very similar to Evansville. I mean, it's almost like they're almost clones. So it's not gonna be filled up. So it can get loud, but especially after the ticket round, a lot of people leave because you only have half as many wrestlers, and those people leave if their guys are out. So it doesn't get any better as far as the fans. Because it's such a big arena, and then when it's only half full, it doesn't get quite as loud.
It's cool that you guys all have everyone in the same area code or zip code or time zone. We have 2 different time zones coming to East Chicago. I remember I saw the new. It's a nice stadium. I am jealous that you guys have that beautiful facility. I don't know where we would host it at. If we hosted it at like wherever non-high school we would have it at. I always say Purdue, but I know they always say like the Purdue Big Tens is tight at Mackey.
Yeah, the floor space was really tight. That's the only thing I know we were talking about last night after the show about kind of the drawings up of the semi-states, and it's like where would it be in Northwest Indiana? The only way that you could really do it is if you like how the girls are kind of horizontally sliced. You'd have to kind of do that with Fort Wayne, and then have that second level go like to Indy, kind of dip down to Indy, and then go Newcastle. I don't know. It'd be kind of weird, but
I keep playing the Powerball, and Kim's in the construction. They just built the new Ryan Fieldhouse, and so she's got like a pretty good feel on that. So when I get that money, I'm gonna build one right here in Lowell. I'm gonna host.
I got the idea. Is the new Bear Stadium that they're building in Portage or Gary or wherever, is that going to be domed?
It's gonna be domed, but dude, you can't have a semi. That thing's gonna be 50,000 seats at least. Like, dude, it'd be I want something nice and where it's electric. And I mean, people used to say like, we're getting off the subject talking about East Chicago. We don't need the East Chicago talk. This Fort Wayne. We already talked East Chicago. We got to talk about, you guys pull from a pretty good area of like the state over there, like that whole eastern half, right?
Yeah, go from basically Elkhart down to Kokomo, Marion, all the way over to Muncie, Jay County. So it's pretty good.
That's who's going to host a semi-state at some point. It's going to be Kokomo, man.
Yeah.
Their facilities are unreal for softball.
Yes, yeah, they have a pretty nice stadium too. So let me share my screen. Not my Mick Foley screen. Where's my semi-state brackets? There we go.
Don't go out on a limb, Owen. The returning state champs winning the state again. Don't go out on a limb, my friend. Nah.
Okay.
Hey, don't take the field.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think
so we're going to talk a little bit. Here we go. Let's see. Let me make this better. There we go. That looks a lot better.
And
So,
we got
Fort Wayne semi-state.
we got a special guest in the house too.
Who's
Who's
that?
playing on her phone and doing homework?
Oh, yeah, she's yeah. Yes. So
We seen her on all the
you want people to know who you are.
TikToks.
Yeah, if you come, if you see her run, I know one coach. I don't want to say his name.
Don't run. Come towards. I have more questions.
Yeah, she has lots of questions, and I know there's one coach that's definitely afraid of her, worse than I am.
Jeez. She's asking the hard hitting questions here.
Yeah, she's yay tall.
What? No, I'm taller than that.
So yeah, she might be asking questions this weekend. So check the TikTok and stuff. So yes, if she needs help with her chemistry homework, so if you know chemistry, is that your thing, Mike? You work. I mean, you should know chemistry. You're trying.
I do know some chemistry. What do you need work on? I work in environmental, but solid waste. We work with a lot of chemicals. So I was actually on a pretty big Teams call today presenting. So
nice.
I work you've been practicing Gorilla Radio and then take it right to Teams calls.
Nice. So we'll start on the wrestling part. 106. Connor Cleveland, East Noble, tough freshman, having a real good year. He has got a tough little match here. Will Fredinger from Bluffton, a senior.
Yeah, a couple seniors, right?
Yeah, a couple seniors in this quarter bracket. So you never. That's always kind of a wild card, especially at 106. Guys have been there. 28-5. He's had solid wins. That could be a real good match. Jackson Harris, New Haven, number 26 in the semi-state or state, number 4 in the semi-state. Dorian Barber from Kokomo. So 2 seniors, 2 freshmen. That will be interesting. Harris had some good wins. Cleveland has beaten him at the Northeast 8, but yeah, that's going to be an interesting quarter bracket. You can see a 4-over-1 there. Cleveland's really good, but you just never know when right off the scale you got the senior first match of the day.
Yeah, I mean you're talking. I mean both matches, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what these kids' actual ages are, but like you got possibly 2 15-year-old kids against 2 dudes that can vote, can gamble, they can buy lotto tickets if they want. So like I think that's always like you're right. I think that's always a factor at 106, especially the lower weights. Mm-hmm. Whether they're 106 or whatever, those are grown men, those are dudes that have done it. Fredinger's been, I think he was right on the outside of the rankings. I know he's on the watch list. He's obviously in the semi-state rankings. And shout out to Caleb. He does a great job. Not great hair, but great rankings.
You need to hook him up with your barber.
Dude, come to the region. I'll get him lined up.
You don't recognize him.
Dude, come in, it'd be like Can't Hardly Wait, Never Been Kissed. It'd be like those 2000 high school movies. Come downstairs, it'd be all cleaned up.
Yeah.
Everyone, hide your lady. So then, but Cleveland's had a really good season. So he's been in the rankings since day one. Really good ISWA career. I know I was higher on Jackson Harris than Caleb was at some point. I know he had a good win over Jalen Davis. So he's had a really good season also. So I would expect, possibly both those freshmen for a ticket. And Cleveland's won that, but you never know. Just, how you guys handle those pressure. Is Dorian Barber, was he at semi-state last year for Kokomo?
I do not recall if he was. I don't even know if he has a profile, to be honest.
Okay.
So going down next quarter bracket, Carson Kalimeko. I can't pronounce.
I always say Kalimoko, but I don't know.
Kalimoko. That sounds Kalimoko. Calico. Yeah, whatever. Real tough freshman from Delta. They just keep churning out these 106 pounders every year. These good lightweights, and that's going to be one they need. Gabriel Sparks of Central Noble, freshman. Carson Young, number 9 in the semi-state versus Jalen Davis from Snyder's, number 20. Davis finally pretty close to a full-size 106 pounder. He's been really tiny. He only has a couple losses this year, and Did avenge his one loss to Harris at sectional. Should be an interesting matchup. Obviously, like we said up there, you got the junior guy that's been through it. He's had some good national level success, and he's the older guy. He's not going to be pulling a lot of weight, so off the scale, it actually probably won't matter by the time second round comes around. But Ben there, kind of one of those things. It could be an interesting ticket round.
Man, Kim was just giving me the business. She just texted me and said, "Why does it look like I'm being held hostage? I got to get a backdrop, I guess." I don't hurt my feelings. Like I'm out here asking for ransoms. I guess that's not.
I am not. I am safe.
Yeah.
Please do not call anybody.
Yeah. So let's start at the bottom part. Carson Young, number 9 in the semi-state Eastern Greentown, 11-3. So kind of short record. I don't know what happened there but 3 losses. He was third. Probably took some of those losses. The majority of those losses in the state tournament. Jalen Davis is tough. Like, we got to see him last year at Al Smith. I know he's had some good wins. Obviously, he's got the power of the general behind him. He's going to be hyping him up, coming in with a megaphone. I don't know if he does that, but that'd be great if he did.
Don't give him any ideas.
But, man, Kaliamoko is really tough. Just a really tough freshman, comes from a tough family. Those 4 losses are legit losses. Like, they came up and did the Carnahan. He was at Team State, so like not an easy draw there. That's going to be a tough one in the ticket round. But I know we kind of talked about it on the East Chicago show where East Chicago was rated the lowest semi-state. Heartbreak. But you could definitely see the depth of Fort Wayne getting better. Like there's not as many that's an easy path, and there's a lot more ranked guys in the bracket than I think in years past. So. Davis and Kalimoko. I mean, Davis won the match with Harris. I would assume, not to take anything away from Connor Cleveland, and he'll probably prove me wrong and win the semi-state. But Kalimoko just kind of had that really good year. That's a tough matchup for Davis.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. And obviously, team race right now it's going to be really interesting because Delta, the way you win Fort Wayne is you have about 4 really good guys, and you ride those ponies to the finish line. They have about 4 or 5 guys that basically are boom or bust. If they all do what they're supposed to do, they should win it. But there's other teams. Garrett, Belmont has 12 guys there. Carroll has some good draws. I think North Miami has some good draws. They actually just we'll talk about in the next weight. They got a little bit of help in this in one of the weights. And so it could be a very interesting team race, and it's going to be close. And basically what those other teams need is somebody to knock off one of the Delta kids, especially in the ticket round, if not even in a couple in the semifinals that could, help teams. I mean, there's some other teams that could, if they have good days, they got draws and where they're in good spots. It could be very interesting. They can make things fun.
Yeah. So. That's going to be a good match. Kalimoko's losses are to Schofield, Weiler. Weiler, was that out of state? Was that at Carnahan?
Yeah.
Kennison, 4-1, and then DeLuna, 5-4. And obviously, Jalen Davis is 3 losses. Jackson Harris, I know that was early. He avenged that. And then Joey Warner twice. So, that's 2 guys that probably contend for a state medal, and they're going to meet up in the ticket round. Possibly. No, shout out to Carson Young. Pull out the upset. Make me look dumb.
Kahal
Como.
Yeah, there it is. See, I will. I'll put on. There's a place on the profiles that you can put the pronunciation of their name. Kahal. Como. I
think they told us that before, so I apologize for that, man. Because honestly, I think we've talked about Carson in the past, and I know people have put that in there, and
I just updated his profile, so now we can check it.
And I don't know why, I keep going to that.
Como. Yeah, it's just some different names. So. Hooked on phonics. Hey, we're better at ranking things than pronouncing names. So, bottom half bracket: Joey Warner, Carroll, wrestling real well, returning state placer. It's 9-4 with Davis at regional. Really was never in danger, but it kind of just making sure he's wrestling smart, putting himself in good position. Mason Jones from Wabash, freshman. Grady Nevins from DeKalb, freshman. And then number 29, Jacob Binniger from Belmont. That was a rematch from the duel where Warner won that, I believe, by tech fall. So.
Yeah, tough match for Binniger. Right out the bat, 26-10 from DeKalb. But Binniger's tough. Like we kind of talked about. I don't know if did he end up getting seeded at Al Smith. I know he was like one of those guys that was right on the cusp.
I think he ended up getting one of the later seeds.
Like I was a fan. I was happy to see. Like I know he was out for injury, and their backup did well for Belmont too when he was out. But Warner's tough, man. Obviously, he's a returning state medalist. 34-2, 2 losses at 13.
One was at 6.
One was at 6.
Schofield.
Which one?
Schofield and Heisler.
Yeah, that's right. Schofield and Heisler. Schofield got him at the Spartan Classic.
Yeah.
But he's really tough. He's good in the top position, which I think when you're a guy that can turn people, not just ride people, it makes it difficult, especially in high school wrestling, because I just don't think those areas are focused on enough. So he's going to get some points. I know he had a really good run last year. Obviously, got a medal as a freshman.
Yep. Ari Schrock, 42-1. His only loss is a Jalen Davis. William Whiteman from Homestead. That could be a real good match. Whiteman's solid. He can, that could be a real, kind of sneaky match. 4 versus 1. Ben Dygard from Yorktown and Adley Yoder from Northridge. So
2 guys in that quarter bracket that I don't want to say I slept on, but I know that Caleb had him higher in the rankings than I did. And one was Adley. Adley Yoder was in the rankings forever with for Caleb. And then it looks like he fell out right at the end, a senior for Northridge. And then Ari Schrock, I think I had him in the 20s. He might have creeped up a little bit for Mechanical. And then obviously the Davis, loss kind of pushed him down. But really tough. I mean, 42-1. Like you go out there and get 42 dubs. I don't care what schedule you're wrestling. That's really good.
Yeah. So, 3 seniors in that weight class, which is probably the most in the state. So, 113, there was a big change. It will be more in the next. Actually, it'll be in the next half bracket, but
tough break.
Yeah, undefeated Ian McVicker. I guess his dad said he dislocated his knee at sectional and is pulling out. So these are brand new, hot off the presses brackets with the updated, what I believe should be updated correctly, brackets. So if they're wrong, don't shoot the messenger. But I don't think he was out yet on the brackets, but that's his dad posted there. Usually he's pretty truthful about that stuff. So tough loss for him. So we'll talk about that as we get down. I got number 14 in the state, Drew Heisler, tough sophomore for Homestead. He has Brock Sprunger. Imagine that, a Sprunger from South Adams. Number 10 in the semi-state, Nicholas Davis from Taylor. He has Carter Sheehog of Angola, number 8 in the semi-state. Heisler had a real good freshman year and kind of starting to put it together this year, wrestling really well. Won a regional title last week.
Yeah, I think that'd be an exciting match right out the gate. Heisler and Sprunger. Sprunger's had some really good wins, had some, some head scratching losses, and it's just, how do you put it together at the right time? Heisler, Homestead. We talked about it when we did the votes for who had the toughest schedule at the Fort Wayne coming out of Fort Wayne. I had Homestead Homestead and Garrett. He's wrestled a lot of really good 13s. That'd be I think that's when it pays off is now. When you wrestle those really tough matches, it doesn't matter how many. I mean, everyone wants to be undefeated, but if you're taking those losses to the top level guys, you're at Al Smith, you're at the Curry Clash, and I would be willing to bet that's probably where a handful of his losses came. You're hoping that you get those out of your system, kind of figure it out, get some good tape. You're not just blowing everybody out, and then it pays off here. And he has good coaches.
Mhm.
Like Homestead has really good coaching. I got to watch the video, mic'd up.
Yes.
You know? Andy, a man of self reflection. We're all getting older. That's very true.
Yes.
Um,
He can't get up out of his seat. So hopefully Duke will kind of bring him a cane or his walker this week because there's gonna be a lot of walking.
Dude, I might go find some pierogies. Someone told me, and there's a church a little bit further north than me that has really good pierogies, and they're like basted in butter. I'm gonna bring them for Nick for state. So if you see him at I don't know if I'm gonna get him at the teams at the show, but if you find me down there and we're close to the hotel, I'm gonna get some pierogies for you, my man, because I guess that's what we have in the region.
Speaking of pierogies, like Pierogi Fest, I heard our guy Nate Spangle is coming up there this year.
He should. It's a really cool event. I've only been one time, and it was in high school. It's far up there. That's basically Chicago. It's like north of Hammond. You got to get with Joe Stanley, Whiting legend. I made the mistake and said he was from Hammond Clark. He scolded me on air. It'd be like saying I was from Griffith.
Yeah. How's this becoming a East Chicago show? Anyway.
Yeah.
So
we kind of talked
about it. Well.
We kind of talked about it off air a little bit. Like, not that Drew Heisler's an easy draw by any means, but if you're like a Jalen Collins and you were the 4, you're probably not like, man, I miss K Jackson. I'm not going to be in that quarter bracket. And then you get moved out of there, and then now you're with K Jackson, who's got a state medal, and you're just like, man, that's a little bit tougher draw. Like, I know I've seen other locations or someone pulls out and like you go from like, oh man, I like this draw to like, dang, this is a terrible draw.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. I wonder if they would ever be like, hey, you know what? Do you want to move? Do you want to put the other guy on that spot or?
Yeah. So,
or
there's something that happened at state one year where a guy injury defaulted in the first round, and they didn't want to move somebody. Yeah, there was some controversy. I'll say that much.
Is that the Brock Hudkins one where he made?
It was Bryce Bumgarner from Belmont.
Oh, that's right.
And they didn't want to. They said they didn't want to move because he had a tough match, and they didn't want to move. I think the East Noble kid up to the tougher match. And I can't remember who they wrestled offhand. I can probably figure it out in a second.
But
he just took an injury default. Didn't even step on the mat. It was Gabe Kuntz.
Yeah.
Who was pretty darn good. I think he might have won state that year. It was 2015. Let's see. I think so. He stayed there. He didn't move up. The would have been the East Noble kid, and then there was a lot of because there was a East Side kid that would have been the alternate that should have been able to wrestle. Should have been able to go to state. And I think that's the wrong thing to do. I will say that and let the kid that it was kind of just a weird, like you don't go out there and just hold that spot. Yeah. No, he did not win it. He was third that year or fifth that year. Still, that was just a weird.
McVicker's dad's in the chat. Like, yeah, man, quick recovery, man. Obviously, that's tough. He was having a really good year. Like, he's tough, man. He's really good. Obviously last year beating Harper kind of put him on the map for us in the rankings, and speedy recovery.
Yep. So going down, K Jackson, state 5th place finisher. He has Wyatt Cox from East Side, number 7 in the semi-state. Number 12 in the semi-state, Leon Bontrager of West Noble has Jalen Collins from Wabash. Jackson's number 1 in the semi-state, highest ranked wrestler here, so should be a good one there. He should be probably the favorite in that quarter bracket.
And he's really tough. Obviously, he's a tough room. Like, because he had qualified. Did he qualify at 21 year, then went back down to 13 and has kind of been there. His 3 losses, Breslin, which I believe was at Carnahan, Nick Freeze, and Max Stevens. So he's had a really good season. 2 of those losses coming at Team State.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a guy that's probably looking to score big points for Delta.
Yes. So bottom half bracket, this is where you see the major change. Hunter Duncan moved from the 2nd to 1st place. Now this really makes a very wide open weight class or quarter bracket here. One of Duncan's losses was to Wyatt Cox, who was 4th in the Carroll Regional. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a take that Levi Bell beat him last week. So it could be very interesting there. Obviously, you had Mick Vicker there, who was a heavy favorite. So Hunter Duncan, number 9, the semi-state will have Trevor Munsell of Northwood, Levi Bell, number 11 in the semi-state. A lot of his losses are up at 120. And then he has Cade Jackson, a senior, number 23 in the state. So Jackson, obviously,
Jackson Webb
in this spot now, but you got the freshman versus senior. You never know what.
Did you say Cade Jackson there? What Jackson Webb, right?
Jackson Webb. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
And I think half his losses have come to Cade Jackson, right? Jackson Webb's.
Yeah, he lost his 2 losses in the state series. Lost to Caleb Morrow 8-0 and Fleshman.
So pretty solid losses. That'll be a good one. Levi Bell's a really talented freshman. I know he was in my nephew's weight at middle school state last year, so I know he had a good run. I believe that'll be a good match. Obviously Webb didn't have a ton of matches this year, so I don't know the type of injury or if whatever was going on there. And Carroll, I think, wrestles a pretty solid schedule also. But Duncan goes from possibly a ticket round match with Cade Jackson to being the one in the regional there. But Trevor Munsell, I thought, looked pretty solid at Al Smith too. I don't think that if you're looking forward to the winner of that Levi Bell, Jackson Webb, you might get caught, looking past Trevor Munsell. I thought he looked solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that should be a good quarter bracket. Kind of wide open now. Bell's looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. I've seen him down at 113. So that could be. I mean, going down to 13 might have set himself up for a puncher's chance at least. At the very least, he has a chance to punch a ticket to state.
Did he have some pretty good wins? He beat Putt. I thought, or he beat Simon Aller at Carney, or not Carney, Tom Cameron. Yeah, he wrestled a tough Tom Cameron. He had Ethan Alvarez there. He had a couple other guys. So,
bottom quarter bracket, Max M.S. Kleberg from the Prairie Heights Panthers. Tough freshman. Jace Johnson, Huntington North. He's the one that got pulled in here. Bradley Baker, Belmont. Imagine that, a Baker at Belmont. And Ramon Sierra, returning state qualifier from Garrett. This is another, the senior versus freshman. Might as well be the motto for the semi-state right now. Sierra was a state qualifier last year. Been there, done that. Kleberg, really tough freshman. But you never, and he's beaten Sierra at least once, if not twice. He has beaten
major twice. And fall, right?
Yeah. So that puts you're going to be a little bit more confident, but at the same time, it's a tick around and crazy stuff happens.
I thought Sierra looked, and this is no disrespect. I know, the Garrett guys are watching a good amount, but I didn't think Sierra looked great at Al Smith. I don't know if he was sick or I don't think that was the showing, especially coming off a state qualifier finish, but he looked much better at Team State. I thought the match with Carter Gary, I thought he wrestled really well. Carter Gary was really tough. And I thought he dominated that match, kind of set the tone for Garrett, where he just kind of came out, wrestled hard, wrestled in your face. I don't know if that's more reflective of how he's wrestling currently, and then maybe just took some time to get there. But man, that'd be a tough one, man. Kleberg's good. I don't know if Kleberg had the Al Smith that he wanted to have either. I thought did he end up placing or did he lose?
No, he lost to Gene and Aruda.
Two pretty good losses there. Jackson Gene well, and Cruz Aweta. He also beat Carter Gary there 7-4. He beat Trevor Munsell there. So, I think that's one of those ones that both those guys are, good programs, good coaching. So that'll be an interesting one to see who comes out in that ticker round. But sometimes you go with the senior that's had that experience. But I think Max Kleberg's had a really good season. So. Yeah,
Kleberg's really good. I mean, we saw him at the Folk South State. He looked real good.
Yeah,
last year.
Did he beat Louis there?
I think he did. Yeah, that's who he beat. I think that's who he beat. Kind of a crazy match at the end. I think he ended up getting a takedown, maybe, or a stall call, something like that. Something a little bit controversial at the end, and ended up, went in, and then he wrestled Kleberg, or not he wrestled, yes, he wrestled Chef, and Chef
Yeah.
was on a revenge tour at that time.
Yeah, he I definitely I thought he was gonna be 6 this year. He had a really good summer. I'm just kind of looking at some of his results now. Trying to see that folk style state. Yeah, he beat Luke Kennison 7-5, lost to Chef. But yeah, he wrestled really well that day. I remember talking with Nick Duke, and he was kind of saying like, oh yeah, he's gonna be a guy to watch next year and kind of just be in the mix. He was a 5th placer at Middle School State. Lost to Ty Sisson, who's also up. Probably he's at 26. We'll talk about that tomorrow. He lost to Luke Kennison there. So
120 returning state qualifier, or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3
he
years
was a
ago.
qualifier coming out of East Chicago, right? And then went to Fort Wayne and he hasn't made it back through.
Maybe that's what Maligned used for the ratings. Is like, man, this guy qualified out of East Chicago, can't qualify out of Fort Wayne. It must be tougher.
That's what I keep saying about all the Rochester guys. Except for no, I don't say that. For Rochester guys. There was someone else that came from Fort Wayne before. I forgot who it was that struggled to get out of EC.
Yeah.
But,
so yeah, so that'd be kind of cool just to switch those up to see if teams get more or less. Anyway, center state qualifier from Wawa C. He has Hudson Treon of Bishop Dwenger first round. Number 12 in the semi-state. Manny Mora from Oak Hill versus Max Adams from South Adams, number 26. So you could have a 4 and 6 in the semi-state, or 18 and 16 in the state. So that could be a real good match. Center having a pretty solid senior year there.
Yeah. Center also, like, obviously we got to see him at Al Smith. I thought he wrestled really tough. I thought he scrapped. He looked like he was pretty big for the weight.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought he put himself in a good spot. His 4 losses, I would be willing to bet a handful of them were there. He's lost to McIntyre, Justice Thrasher twice, which would have been there, and then he lost to Xavier Kuna, which was probably also there, right? I don't know if Wawa CC's Portage anywhere else.
Yeah. Actually, it was later because they wrestled Portage. I think it was later. Let me see. So those are usually by date. Yeah, they wrestled Portage. No, that was the same day. He beat Jacob Powers, beat Ray Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that's a good win over Powers. Powers after that's been wrestling lights out.
Yeah, because he went back the next week, or 2 weeks after that, and beat Bridge.
Yeah.
Or the next week. So I think he's wrestled really well. I think that's gonna be a tough match. Max Adams also had a tough loss early on to Silas Wank of Jay County, where he was tech-falled, which I think he was in the rankings that kind of dropped him back down. And then obviously he's ran into Wicker a couple times, but he reversed that loss to Wank. Looks like a couple times now by fall.
Yeah, he only lost 1-0 to Wicker last week, so obviously wrestling pretty well right now.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting match.
So going down, you got Bakari Cooper, returning state qualifier. I believe he was semi-state champ last year.
I believe he was a semi-state champ last year.
And number 2 in the semi-state, his loss is to Cale Beer.
Yep, up by like 32, right?
Yeah.
He was about 26.
He has Caden Braden of Concord Junior, and then Oliver Farrow of Belmont has Houston Smith of Huntington North, a little Northeast 8 on Northeast 8 Crime in the first round. Cooper in a pretty solid position. Braden would be his probably biggest competition right now.
Yeah, Braden was a guy I think we kind of talked. We waffled back and forth on the seeding at the Al Smith. Based on some of his results, he wrestled well there. I don't believe he placed, right?
No.
But he had a good run. But that's tough. Bakari Cooper, I'm glad to see him out there. I know he missed their conference right before the state series.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that he's in the bracket. Obviously, he's incredibly tough. Returning semi-state champ. He's going to look to get a medal. I don't know why I dropped him down after he missed the tournament. I don't do that to everybody, so sorry, Bakari Cooper. I really don't. I don't know the thought process behind that, but yeah, Caden Braden lost. He beat Oliver Farrow there. Lost to Gavi Riano and Ethan Alvarez. So tough tough East Chicago sectional opponents there. But
Yeah.
Farode and Smith could be a good one. Obviously, Belmont's going to be trying to get as many guys to the state and to the ticket round as they can because they're going to try to be in the mix to, push for a championship also.
Yeah. I mean, you get a pin there. That's 4 points that, I mean, if it's close, that's going to help you out. So you never know where you need those points. And even if he doesn't make it to state, he can help the team out in that way. Braylon McIntyre, undefeated North Miami. North Miami comes in with 3 undefeated wrestlers. He has Silas Wank that we were just talking about. McIntyre, number 10. Silas Wank, number 8 in the semi-state. Alex De La Cruz from Angola has Braden Jude of Leo. That should be a good one, 9 and 10. 8, 9, and 10 in the semi-state, and then number 10 in the state. So that should be a pretty solid quarter bracket.
Yeah, Braylon McIntyre's had a really good season. Who beat Braylon McIntyre last year to not let him get a ticket? He doesn't have a state qualifier next to him.
Braylon McIntyre.
I thought he did qualify.
He did qualify last year.
Okay.
Or no, he did not.
This is your spot, man. This is.
Yeah, he did not qualify last year. He lost to Levi Johns. That sounds it'd be Levi Johns in the ticket.
Yeah, they had that ticket round match. He was also undefeated there, right? First losses in the ticket round.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
The aforementioned Silas Wank, 8 in the semi-state. He's had some good wins. That's a tough one though. McIntyre's wrestling really well. And then 9 and 10, De La Cruz, Angola, and Braden Jude. Braden Jude was in the rankings for a little bit also, just kind of fell out right at the end. But I think McIntyre is probably liking his draw better this year than it was last year when he had Johns, right?
Yeah. Jude beat Cruz in their duel 4-3, so that should be a good rematch there.
Oh, Caleb does a great job on the rankings, so that 10 and 9, I assumed that was going to be a close match.
So, bottom quarter bracket, Reed Wicker returning 5th place finisher. He has Waylon Mossholder from Kokomo, Camden Rapel from Homestead, number 7 the semi-state, has number 5 in the semi-state. Charlie Fleshman, who's also a 2-time state qualifier, looking for his 3rd trip to state. He's going to, this is a Fort Wayne semi-state draw. 2 guys with qualifiers beside their name, and they meet up in the ticket round, possibly.
Well, not to say like, oh man, but Centaur obviously beat Fleshman, so he's a returning qualifier from a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And then Cooper's a returning semi-state champ. McIntyre's an undefeated senior, 82 and 1 in the last 2 years, which is pretty phenomenal, especially for a guy that hasn't been to state. And then Reed Wicker, you're gonna hit one of those guys. So that could be a really good match. But Rapel and Fleshman could be a good match right off the bat too. Rapel's had some solid wins for Homestead. 27-10 sophomore. I know he had some good wins last year also. So I think those guys will have him ready to go. And then Wicker's tough, but like I thought when Wicker came to Carnahan, he might have still been adjusting to the weight, going up 2 weight classes. I don't think. Because you go 0-2 there, or you go 1-2 there.
He went 1-2 or 0-2, I think, something like that.
Probably there's probably not a lot of tournaments that he had a bye, and then he got tech followed by Mason Haynes of Dundee, and then Brody Page of Army and beat him 5-0. I'd be willing to bet there's not a lot of days that Reed Wicker's probably gone to that he didn't score an offensive point in a tournament. He was incredibly tough. But then obviously now he only has the other singular loss, which I believe was that at Team State also.
That would have been yes, Kreiderman 2-1.
Kreiderman 2-1. They bumped up, so that could be a really good match with him and Fleshman. I know I think I sided with. How did I rank it? Yeah, I sided with Caleb on this one on his rankings. I was a little bit surprised that he didn't have Bakari Cooper 1, returning semi-state champ. And then, but obviously Caleb does a great job, so I kind of went that way. But that's a good weight.
Sounds like Mossholder is out and Rowe from Western is in. So
shout out to Rowe from Western, man. Congratulations.
So 126, Dakota Sprunger, Adams Central, number 15 in the state. Another Sprunger from South Adams, Mauricio Perez from Oak Hill.
Shout out to my boy Sprunger from South Adams.
Yes, and lots of Sprungers there. Landon Carrillo from Goshen. Simon Cornwell from Bishop Dwenger, number 30 in the state. So 15 and 30 could be battling it out for a ticket. So should be a good match. You got two seniors who are going to punch their first tickets to state there.
Yeah, Sprunger's had a really good year. 2 losses, one to Swarthwood, one to Beer. So Caleb Beer doing work on some of these guys. Just, I know that was one of the ones that kind of kept him out early on. I think, but he's wrestled really well. That might have been pretty early in the season, and then, Cornwell I feel like has been around forever. And I mean, maybe there was multiple Cornwells that like kind of like just layered into each other, and I feel like I've had him in there for 10 years. But I know he's had some good wins this year also. Like he had a good win over, was it Ben Mills? There was someone he had a good win over that we were kind of using as a measuring for the Al Smith seeding.
He beat Mills, was it? He lost to Kite, beat Bricky, lost to Swarthwood, Beatty, Perez, Clark.
And there was someone that we were balancing a win and loss with. Like obviously he was in the field, but we were using it kind of as like a pivot for where some of the guys were falling. He's had a really good career.
Mills beat him, or he beat Mills, and Kite beat him. No, because Kite was, I don't know, something like that.
It was something along those lines. But that should be a good match. Sprunger and Cornwell. I mean, we don't always talk about the vaunted South Adams Bishop Dwenger match, but Carrillo and Perez have something to say about it.
Yep. Going down, you got Rex Moore, 3-time qualifier placer last year. He's now at North Miami. He has Dalton Parks of Cowan, and bottom match will be number 8 and 9 in the semi-state. Ian Hawkins from Fremont and Cade Foster of Heritage. I do not know if they have wrestled. We don't have many of their matches in. So I don't know. I think they possibly were at the same tournament earlier in the season, but I don't know if either of them have had profiles for a long time.
Shout out to Caleb for kind of getting that seated in there, right? Like you'd have Moore, who's an undefeated returning medalist, and you have an 8-9 match to kind of feed into there. So Rex Moore's incredibly tough. Obviously, he's been to state 3 times. He's going to look to go 4 times. And he's in a good spot on that top half of that bracket too, kind of away from
Sprunger's asking about the vaunted Dwenger South Adams Cradle. Won the can't even think of his name. I could see him. Went to semi-state undefeated the 1 year. Actually 2 years in a row and lost and won in the take around to my guy. I can see the name. And then got cradled the next year in the first round from a Dwenger kid. Oh, shoot. What's his name?
Come on, Sprunger. Shout him out, bro.
Crap. Josh Air and Delaney. Yes. I don't know why I was blanking on Air's name. Usually this is the week I post that video of that match, though, him and Bryce Schindel. So.
Yeah. Josh Air and Delaney.
Yeah. Josh Air. That was came into 2-time state qualifier, came into semi-state 2 years in a row, undefeated, and didn't make it out.
Tough, man. That's why they call it the toughest semi-state, right?
Yes, there's a website. I don't know if we had a website, but that was the early days of the website. That was year 2 of the website. Get our homework's done. Time for bed. So So Moore, Parks, Foster, and Hawkins. So Moore's in a good spot. Wrestling real well, undefeated. So going down bottom half bracket, things kind of got separated pretty well in this weight class. Abram Swarthwood, number 1 in the semi-state. Aiden Sparks, Central Noble. Keegan Tedder of Western, and number 27 in the state, Ben Mills of Belmont. Another spot where Belmont's not favored, but they can get a win in the first round and pick up some points and see how far that takes them.
Yeah, I think Mills has had a really good year. Um, Solid, like you said, like you're gonna want to pick up some points early on. Swath was wrestling really well. I thought he looked really good at Al Smith. Both years, back to back years, he's looked really good at Al Smith. He looked good at Team State. Obviously, he got some big wins for them. Uh, so I'm excited to see him possibly punch a ticket. That'll be his first ticket, right? He has not qualified yet. I know last
Correct.
year he was out, and then possibly make a run at to a medal. So I think he has the ability. I think he's a tough guy to wrestle. Like I've never wrestled him, but he looks like he's pretty strong for the weight, and it looks like he rolls really well. So he in those 50-50 positions, it looks like he lands on top really well.
Yeah. So bottom quarter bracket, that's going to be a fun one. Three guys with rankings. You got Quanell Gabriel of Lakeland, number 21. Number 29, Chase Bricky of Carroll. Actually getting fourth. He ends up probably in a lot better position than he would have if he got third, which would have put him up against Rex Moore.
Yep.
So he had actually probably the better draw by getting fourth there. So that should be a good one. Gabriel's solid. Has had some good wins and some good matches. Braden Salim from Muncie Burris, and Quinn Allen Boggs from Peru. Muncie Burris just like restarted the program. Salim's had some decent win. He actually, and he beat Joey Warner at Freestyle State a couple years ago twice. Warner's pretty solid at freestyle. He likes freestyle and Greco, and I was looking at his his profile, and I'm like, man, he's that. I mean, obviously it's freestyle. Things can be a little bit different. He didn't really have. He had some decent matches at like Folk Style State and stuff, but you can tell he's solid. He knows what he's doing. It's that'd be kind of cool to. He'd be their first state qualifier, and so he wrestled at Delta a couple years ago. I don't know if he was wrestled last year, but 2 years ago he was wrestling for Delta a little bit. So it could be an interesting quarter bracket. I mean,
yeah,
pulling for the teams that aren't always putting in guys to state and stuff. Lakeland doesn't get a lot of qualifiers. I think they have a good young group right now. Muncie Burris, Carroll has a good young core, so it should be interesting to see who comes out of that bottom quarter.
Yeah, I thought Gabriel had a really good freshman sophomore state. I thought he had some good wins there, which kind of put him on the radar for us, like into the semi-state rankings and things like that. Did Muncie Burris not end up going to Spartan Classic? They were there, right? And then
they end up pulling out, I think, and then we're trying to find something else.
Because they were talking about trying to get into Al Smith like late, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
But that'd be a good one right off the bat, Bricky and Gabriel. And then, yeah, that'd be really cool. I mean, I don't know. Has Muncie Burris never had a state qualifier?
I'm pretty positive they've never had one because I don't think this is the first time I put their team in the database. So, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome. I mean, I'll pull for him. I mean, even though I usually pull for the guys with the rankings, and we haven't had a quarter bracket without a ranked guy in it. But if he pulls through and he's the first one, man, shout out, man. That'd be awesome for the program, awesome for the state. The more teams involved, I think it's better for the community.
Yes. So 132. Donovan Cunningham from Concord having a good senior year. He has Connor Fajortik from Norwell, another senior. Looking should be a pretty good match there. 8 and 12. The 8 is the 4 seed. Then you got a really good first round match here. Number 26, Callan Olery of Homestead and Trip Hazley of Madison Grant, number 16. Not Trip Garner.
That is not Trip Garner, but I thought it was Trip Garner.
Too many trips here.
I was trying to round up all the trips and put them on one team.
Yeah, so his losses are to D. Ross. I don't know who D. Ross is. Rosenberger. Dallas Rosenberger. I know who that is.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Nixon loved the past 2 weeks. 8-6 and 11-0. So Hazley's pretty solid. Returning state qualifier. He's probably a little bit more of the favorite here, but I think that first round match will be good. And any of those guys, those seniors right there, could be looking to upset a kid in the ticket round.
Yeah, I think Colin Ulrey's had some good wins at Center Grove. He had some good wins because I think he had a win over Kyle Riley there, right?
Yes, yeah.
Early on, and then Trip Hazley has been really tough. I know he had some good wins last year. Obviously, he's having a good run right now as a senior for Madison Grant. Donovan, we seen at the Al Smith. I think he was 1-2 possibly. I think he lost to two pretty tough guys. I mean, it's a tough tournament. I don't. Alry was not in at Al Smith, right? He ended up pulling out. He was injured.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was injured. He just wasn't there.
Yeah,
Could have been on
there
a
was
cruise,
a
get some sunshine.
sickness injury type thing. So,
I went to the Trikoff one time and didn't see MJ Staples, and I was like, "Oh man, is he hurt?" And they said, "Nah, he's just enjoying some sunshine on a cruise." So I don't want to assume. But, yeah, that'd be a really good first round match.
Yeah.
And again, Homestead's going to be in the mix too. They have some guys that are going to be pushing for state medals, and the more guys that can get into that ticket round and rack up points, I think it's going to help them push for a team title. And I know they want to get back to team state too, so I don't know how
that's a spot where they could, getting someone like him to state is big points for the team race right there. So that could really put a kink into things if guy that's not totally favored by rankings or seniority and stuff, pulls out a couple upsets and ends up punching a ticket. And you never know what happens then. I mean, you're scoring lots of points. That would be at least 8 or 10 points, I believe, and he's in a good spot.
I think it's good for his career too. Like as a sophomore, if you're able to knock off returning state quality, even if you go out there and bang with Hazley and it's a good match, that gives you a little bit more motivation to continue to work and know that you're right there with the top guys in the state. So, and he's had wins over some of the top guys in the state. So, yeah. Confidence is key, man.
And speaking of top guys in the state, number 1, the semi-state, number 2 in the state, Jensen Boyd. Obviously, that top quarter bracket, everyone there is glad they did not run into Jensen Boyd. He has Remington Waldron of Lakeland first round, Elliot Grist of Cass versus number 10, the semi-state, Deacon Rhodes. Rhodes having a good year. He actually beat Ulrey at regional, which kind of put him in a little bit better spot, you think. And then he ends up getting probably the worst of the draws there. I always say that I always thought that I almost felt better getting third out of Carroll than getting second. I just felt we always got worse draws, and just I have no scientific evidence other than my feelings, but that's scientific enough, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you have some kind of program that runs it and lets you know.
Yeah, I could probably go check, but yeah, I always felt like some of our kids I was always upset with them losing in the semifinals, guys they probably shouldn't have lost to, and then I felt a lot better when I saw the draw. I'm like, that wasn't too bad. I'm glad he lost.
I definitely think that I kind of talked about in the broadcast whenever I was doing it Saturday was if you're not the champ, like second and third is a crapshoot. You have no clue. It's just a random. You could have the third place guy could have the tougher draw there, like in this bracket. Shout out to Donovan Cunningham. We're not trying to downplay it. I'm not trying to downplay your regional championship, man. I hope they're not watching. But Jensen Boyd's the real deal, man. I'm really happy he was able to come back strong this year. Had a great showing at Ironman. Obviously wrestled Rio in the semi. Was it the semis there?
Yes, semi.
Dude, amazing run. Because I was there when he broke his arm. I broke his elbow last year at Carnahan, and it did not look good. And there's like a telltale sign, I feel like, in any injury. When they allow your family to come onto the mat, there's probably something that's not good happening.
Yeah.
And that he was able, and I had heard some rumors that, it was even worse than they had thought, but came back strong. He was wrestling really well. And we kind of talked about 32 being a wide open weight, obviously he lost to Rio. That was a pretty good match, but would you be shocked if Jensen Boyd came home with the title?
No, he's tough.
He's really good. Yeah. So with that being said, Deacon Rhodes, I know you sent me a thing on Saturday, so he has the most significant matches of anybody was it Deacon Rhodes that you said that about?
No, that's his brother.
Oh, his brother. His brother does.
Drake Rhodes
does have the most significant matches.
He was one of the pivot points.
Dude, 100%.
Oh, man. Because that's his brother, his older brother.
Shout out to Deacon or Drake Rhodes because, dude, he wrestled everybody in a 3-year window.
He had, the schedule, he wrestled like 132, I want to say. And
Was he a Homestead kid too?
Yeah, he's a Homestead guy. So yeah, he would always. I don't know what their schedule, and I don't even want to say their schedule was like crazy tough at that time. It wasn't definitely not like what they have now. But he would just wherever he would go, he would see real good competition, and he would have. I mean, before I don't think we had profiles back then, but he would always have a ton of matches, and he was always that guy of telling you, if you wrestled him, you could tell he was that pivot point of, okay, we know he's about this level. Where do we put him? But yeah, so Deacon's solid. Had a good win over, like I said, over Ori. Wrestled well. He wrestled Jackson Harris really good. Not Jackson.
Sean Harris.
Sean.
He could probably wrestle Jackson Harris tough too.
Yeah, I'd say he's a little more favored against Jackson, but yeah. So he's not bad. He's gonna probably go out there and he's gonna scrap. And I know the Snyder guys will, they'll try to have some. They'll put something together and give it a win. Give it a whirl. I mean, Boyd is real tough.
And to that, and dude, I've been in that situation. I know, I'm not a guy that comes in here and beats my chest about my career, but my junior year, I was the guy that opened the bracket and was like, oh, I got Travis Horn, who had killed me that summer. And Travis was ranked 1 or 2 at the time. He was ranked pretty high. He was definitely top 5. And the winner of that match had Eric Keith, who ended up winning state that year. Yeah. So bad, really bad. Everyone was talking about how bad of a draw it was for Travis, But obviously, I would have had to beat both of them. That was a bad draw for Mike Reiser. But
no one's talking about Mike Reiser, are they?
Yeah, no one ever talks about whoever's wrestling Rio the first match. They're just talking about Rio and Schaefer, right?
Yeah.
We're not even worried about the guy that has to beat Rio and Schaefer to get a ticket. So, but I knew, and I obviously talked to Travis about this too. As we're seeing in these brackets, anything can happen. Mm-hmm. Jensen Boyd. Well, obviously it's not the draw you want, but with weight and sickness and injuries and whatever nonsense happens to high school kids across the state, you're going to be in a position. Yeah, hopefully they don't go down there and just raise somebody's hand, but you will have, maybe you win it. I'm not saying I'm not gambling on high school kids anymore. I used to have an addiction. I had to go see a counselor, but he could win that match. But if he doesn't, Jensen Boyd's there's a good chance he could piggyback that into being the alternate and just, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So you have a soft spot in your heart for those guys, the Elliot Grist or the Remington Waldron in this quarter bracket.
1,000%. And it was even worse than that. No disrespect to Deacon Rhodes, but dude, Eric Keith was unbelievable. 3-time qualifier, lost Friday night. Was ranked 1 as a junior, lost Friday night. I think he was ranked pretty high as a sophomore. He was semi-state runner-up, lost Friday night. I was almost shocked. I was surprised he won his senior year Friday night. And then ran for state title. It was one of the first times they had all 4 semifinalists undefeated. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember you hear some Watkins motivation. And I thought that I would have Mike Bartley because you didn't get the results as quick as we do now. And it was Bartley and Horn for a regional championship out at Rochester, I believe, was the regional site. And I think Bartley had beat him in overtime. Mm-hmm. And so I thought I was going to have Mike Bartley and then Eric Keith, which obviously Mike Bartley had a really successful career too. And then they're like, oh no, you got, Travis. I had wrestled Travis that summer at Valpo or something and freestyle. And we talked about it. I think he just pushed me down. I literally think he just pushed me down. He was the strongest dude I'd ever wrestled at that point. They always say he's country strong. And if that's what country strong is, they ain't lying. I always said and I told Travis this when we were drinking one time. I remember I grabbed the dude's arm and his skin didn't move. His skin was so tight on his arm. I was like, dang, that's kind of weird. And he was just really strong. And then, obviously he wasn't man, I got Mike Reiser. He's like, dang, I got Eric Keith. But I had a mountain to climb. So when everyone looks at those terrible draws, whatever draws the worst draw there is this year, which is probably, Rio and Schaefer, shout out to the guy that took third that has to beat Schaefer and Rio and Schaefer,
Yeah.
Like, don't forget about that guy.
We need to rename that the Mike Razor.
Oh, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I mean, the one year Andrew Brad, and I don't know if we're ranking like top ticket round matches. The year that Andrew Bradbury beat Josh Burge for a ticket, Burge was the returning champ, regional champ, and Bradbury lost to Ramos, who ended up being the state champ that year. Somebody had to wrestle Bradbury first match. Like, you get the runner up and a champ to go. Like, that's tough.
Yeah. So yeah. And then now you and Travis text all the time. 25 years later.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. I actually talked to a lot of the guys I lost to. Like, and I'm obviously we talked about this before. You can't tell because you always see my chest up, but I'm a little bit taller than those guys too. LO and Lawrence Obregon, and I see my boy Chris Kimbrough at the regional, and Navy SEAL, which he's had some tough, probably a little bit tougher than I am mentally, but man, those guys are not as tall as I am. I was thinking maybe they had me cutting too much weight.
Yeah. So going down bottom half bracket, this is the longest bracket we've had. Sean Harris, returning state qualifier, New Haven. Only one loss this year is to Kyle Riley, 8-6 at Team State, I believe. That is where it was.
I believe so.
He has Dayton McCool from Tri Central, senior. Corbin Hafley from Fremont, sophomore, versus Cale Beer, Adams Central, number 24 in the semi-state or state.
Yeah, ranked 24 in the semi-state. You wild boy.
So he did not. I know New Haven and Adams Central wrestled, but I did not see that they wrestled each other. So
dude, Travis looks like he's in better shape than I am. I'm not trying to wrestle Travis. I'm definitely not trying to arm wrestle the guy.
Yeah. So Beers had some. He's also at Ogle, Gavin Mason, Jensen Boyd, and Callan Ulrey. So, and Jensen Boyd again. So he's had some pretty good matches.
Yeah, and he's
definitely battle tested for a school like Adams Central.
And he's had some good wins too. We kind of talked about some of the guys that he had beat, Max Adams, right, and Bakari Cooper.
Yeah,
that could be an interesting matchup. Obviously Harris, 18 and 24. Ranking wise, man, was there that many ranked guys between those two? Caleb had him at 7. I had him at I guess so. That's a pretty good weight.
Yeah, pretty solid.
He had Ulrey higher than I did. He had lost to Ulrey, so that's a really good weight class overall. Like that's a good quarter bracket. That'd be an interesting match.
Mm-hmm. And then the bottom half bracket, you got return.
Hold on, one more thing, because I see like Tri Central, Tri County, Triton. Dude, these guys mess me up because there's like one in every semi-state, and I'm always trying to figure out which one goes to our semi-state when I'm doing these semi-state.
Tri Central used to go to.
Dude, I thought so.
East Chicago. They changed in that last.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, they got some Tri Central guys. I'm gonna throw these in the rankings, and then they're not even on our semi-state. So.
Yeah. And then Tri County is also in East Chicago too.
Yeah, Tri County's there.
Triton too.
There's a Triton Central and there's a Triton, right? There's
Triton is in East Chicago. Triton Central is down by Indy.
Bro, we got to mix these school names up.
Not very unoriginal names.
All these tries,
and we have 2 Carols. We have 2 Southwestern. You have Southwest or Hanover Southwestern, Southwestern Hanover Central.
Yeah,
we have 2 Mount Vernons.
Yeah. Dude, how many Mount Vernons do we need? There's only one Mount Vernon, and it's in Virginia.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to get a slow pitch going, man. I'm down. Let's slow pitch IndianaMat tournament.
That'd be fun.
Then you guys can see the real skills.
So going down, last quarter bracket, returning, I believe, semi-state champion Hickson Love from Marion, undefeated on the year. He has Cameron Lattimore from Churubusco. Lattimore is wrestling pretty well right now. Beat Caleb Asa 2 weeks in a row. Asa ended up having to pull out last week, which would have made this bracket even tougher. Obviously, you had 5 pretty good guys in this weight from the Carroll Regional.
Yeah.
So that could be a real good match. Lattimore's kind of strong and kind of just he's gonna get after it. I think he'll wrestle real well out there. Got Will Patterson, South Adams versus number 9 in the semi-state. Griffin Klein, East Noble. Somebody told us. I think it was the professor said something about Klein at the at Spartan. He said that. He said I think he must have wrestled one of their guys. Like I think he lost, but he's like that kid's pretty solid. He's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
So, usually that's a good compliment coming from the professor.
He said he's pretty good. That he's and he really said he's going to be down the road. Like if he keeps developing, he's going to be really good. Lattimore is incredibly dangerous. Not in the rankings, but beating Caleb Asa. I was really impressed with Caleb Asa at Al Smith. He had some really good wins. Obviously, the return state qualifier for him to beat him back-to-back weeks, and I think the 1 week we're like, maybe it was a fluke, and then the second time he beat him, you sure it wasn't. So, yeah. But Hickson Love returning semi-state champ, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to AJ Bradley. Told me Hickson Love last year picked him to win the semi-state, and I was like, okay, and then he did. So AJ knows what he's talking about. It's my guy.
Yeah. So yeah, I gotta fix his last name. Why can't people fix their last names? So 138. This is gonna be a good weight class. Henry Farreau, 2-time state qualifier from Belmont. He has Max Morales from Heritage, first round. Glenn Deuce Baldwin, senior from Peru, having a good year. Number 8 in the semi-state. Aiden Hartman from Jimtown, another senior. He's had some solid wins throughout his career. Man,
what's your take on Hickson Love? Undefeated, seems like he's a good kid, but hasn't seen him. I mean, to be undefeated is tough. I haven't seen a ton of notable wins. Obviously, like there's some guys at 32 that had a ton, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you'd probably have a better breakdown. You've seen him make a magical run last year.
Yeah, he wrestled real well last year. Looked good. Obviously, I don't think he's on Boyd's level. I think he's tough, and I think if you go back, I think he's probably he beat Harris, I believe, last year in the semifinals. So I think that could be another good match. Love's probably the favorite to make the finals there, but you never know. You can't. It's hard to tell when they haven't wrestled, similar schedules, and a lot of these guys. Fort Wayne's kind of weird where they'll wrestle good competition, but they won't wrestle the competition. Like you'll look at Garrett and Homesteads and Carroll's and even some of the other schools, their schedules go outside the area. So we're not seeing a Marion versus Garrett or Homestead. You're not, those teams aren't hitting up. So you don't know. It's kind of hard to really, truly judge. At this point, really undefeated. We can go on a little bit of a tangent, but the undefeated doesn't really matter too much because some of these kids are wrestling really good schedules. You look at the Belmonts, the Brownsburg and Crown Point and Center Grove. They're going out of state and stuff. But you're also seeing some of the other teams are really seeking out matches. Belmont, Garrett, Homestead. They're trying to get L's. They're trying to get L's on their records. To be honest, you're not going to the Al Smith trying to come out of there with 5 undefeated kids.
And like nothing against Hickson Love. He doesn't make the schedule. He doesn't obviously he's wrestled every match that they put him out there. Sometimes it's tough. I mean, we talk about why kids gravitate to certain schools, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but if you have a kid that wants to wrestle wherever, like you're going to go target schools that are going to wrestle those schedules. Mm-hmm. That's why you do see some of those schools that aren't wrestling those schedules losing guys to better schools that are going to get better competition, and like Boyd even further than that, went to Carnahan, which had some, incredibly tough out-of-state wrestlers. He went to Ironman and had a really good showing. I think he was one of the bigger surprises there, right? Like he was a guy.
Yeah. He was the highest placing unseeded wrestler.
So I think that I agree the undefeated thing isn't what it was. It's still pretty cool to be undefeated.
Yeah, though. Yeah. I mean, it's not an easy thing to be undefeated at this time of the year. And he's beaten Trip Hazley 2 weeks in a row. Hazley's a returning state qualifier, so he's not he's had some of his tougher matches back-to-back weeks, and you got to beat someone like that 2 weeks in a row. I mean, he's solid. I mean, it's so hard to judge when the other guys around that weight class have wrestled
Yeah.
vastly different schedules. But guess what? We'll find out. And sometimes kind of not wrestling that meat grinder of a schedule, and these guys come on at the right time at the end of the year, and they're fresher. They're not beaten down mentally and physically, and
he's obviously talented. He was a semi-state champion last year. Like,
yeah,
you and I both aren't semi-state champions.
Yeah.
But someone told me a long time. I want to say it was Watkins, so I'll just give it credit to my guy. Losing that 0 once you get to a certain point is like a little bit. It gives you a little bit of an edge, right? You start getting that 0, like, if you're wrestling a guy like Jensen Boyd, maybe not, but like obviously he's a national level guy. But like guys see that 0 and you got 30 wins, 40 wins next to your name. I think it can be a little bit intimidating, especially for kids, honestly.
Yeah.
Back to 138. Hopefully, Shane, that breakdown was brought to you by Shane Hollingsworth
and Contenders Wrestling Academy. So
yep. Henry Farrow, 2-time state qualifier, regional champ. I'll have Max Morales from Heritage. And then on the bottom part of that, and they usually see each other at the Al Smith. Peru was not at the Al Smith this year. You'll have Aiden Hartman, 26-6 senior, and Glenn Deuce Baldwin, 39-7 senior. Deuce the Baldwins did work at Al Smith, right?
Yeah,
like, those dudes.
If files were held there, they'd be the favorites,
bro. Yeah, if semi-state was held in the old gym at Mishawaka, those dudes put some wins together. Now, maybe he's keeping that up his sleeve because he got some Mishawaka level guys here. He's going to have a Jimtown. Jimtown's at Al Smith, and he's got Henry Farrow, who wrestled incredibly well at Al Smith this year, had some really good wins. Obviously that shot him way up in the rankings, because that 38 weight was nasty there. Yeah. This might be this weekend. You get that Al Smith magic. Those are some familiar foes that you haven't seen this year.
Yeah, maybe he needs to you get a little whiff of some of that asbestos that's still in the old gym at Mishawaka. Maybe they run better on asbestos or whatever is in the.
I feel like that bathroom, that locker room right there by the stage, got some asbestos in it. They might want to get some abatement in there. Gonna get some kids to mesothelioma. But man, also that's gonna be a really good match. Hartman and Baldwin. Baldwin's tough. Obviously, fan of the show. We really like those guys. But Farrow had a really good Al Smith, and he's had a really good career so far. Qualified for state 2 times. I would be surprised if he gets past that match if he doesn't get a medal this year. Like I would be. I think that'd be one that I would write down, depending on where they draw out. Obviously, Friday night matches are tough, but and obviously he's been there twice and he's found out Friday night matches are tough. But he's had some really good wins. What did he end up third at Al Smith? With Donald Bowie and Angelo Vargo, Sonny Sessa. I think he had wins over all those guys. Obviously, Evan Stanley was the champ there.
Yeah, he was third. His only losses to Sessa, 12-6.
So
had some good wins. He has a lot of wins on his resume this year. So, yeah.
And at Belmont, you joking, right? Like there's Froats wrestle there.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Froats moving on down. Speaking of another guy that had a pretty good Al Smith.
Hunter Douglas, 5th in the state last year. He has tough. Jacob Unger from Cowan has quite a few losses on his record this year. Was kind of a surprise qualifier last year. Gavin Chrisman, West Nobles had some solid wins. Number 30 in the state, number 24 in the state. Kane Simpson from Madison Grant. That's
he's a transfer in from the Newcastle semi-state, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
Elwood. I believe he was at Elwood High School.
Yeah, so Simpson coming to the tougher semi-state, obviously, and gonna get a taste of what Fort Wayne's really like.
I thought Madison Grant was out here vulturing all of the guys from Newcastle, and I thought they had Trip
Garner too. But that'd been awesome if they had 2 trips on their team.
Yeah, I thought you were. Yeah, So on that bad part, Crispin had some good wins this year over Baldwin. I know that's what kind of dropped him out of the rankings early, and obviously Crispin jumped in. Simpson had a really good win last year over, I believe, Sal Cyberchrist, uh, because they had posted on their Elwood site like just took down number like I don't know what it is at the 14, and he had cradled them up and stuck them. And I was like, "Who's 14?" And I was like looking up Elwood stuff, and so he's had some big wins. And then, Unger was one of the only unranked guys last year to qualify for
Is
state.
frozen
Am I back?
connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes also sneaks in the house, bro. So, Jacob Unger was one of the only guys that was unranked. That was a state qualifier last year. But that's a tough one, first match. Probably of all the ones, it's the one you don't want. Hunter Douglas is really good.
Yeah. There's two of them you didn't want. You didn't want Ferroder, or actually, you have all three are pretty tough. So you don't want
Douglas. The only one returning with a medal, right?
Yeah.
So he his first two medals, or first two qualifier were at where was he at before he went to Homestead?
He was at Norwell.
And then, made the jump over, had a really good Friday night match last year over over Hawkins, right?
Yeah.
Yep, I remember you guys were trash talking me. So I didn't tell Bill, but I should have, that you guys were so celebratory in his defeat. And then, obviously, ran to a fifth place medal, so he had some other wins there too.
Yeah, should be.
But
should be a good.
We lost Evan Stanley, right?
Yep. So going down, you got Eric Hunt, had a real good Al Smith place there. That's a pretty good measuring stick there for him. He's number 15 in the state. Quentin Gendelin from Lakeland, and then Harper Lee Garrett versus Miles Carr of Adams Central, freshman senior. Harper's wrestling a little bit better now. Got his feet underneath him. Took some losses earlier in the season. Carr, I do not believe they have wrestled, so that could be a good freshman versus senior match. And as we've said this a lot. I mean, Adams Central has some pretty solid kids in the brackets too. And even when you can give yourself a fighting chance by winning these first round matches. And obviously, both teams would love to be able to put themselves in a better shot and make it one round closer to the state and scoring a lot more points. So, that could be a real good match to just give yourself a fighting chance to punch a ticket.
Yeah, I thought that was Quentin Gendelin. I thought that was he had a really good freshman sophomore state last year too. I don't know what Lakeland, what division, how big is Lakeland as a school?
They're like I want to say they're probably 2A. They're just about the same size.
They might be in the mix to grab a team state spot next year. They have a pretty solid squad, it seems like. Eric Hahn, I thought that was a really good move. Coming down from 44, I believe he took both his losses at Al Smith. Really tough senior, obviously ranked 15th in the state. Harper Lee, a really good freshman. I thought he had some really good 8th grade results. Coming in at a higher weight can always be a little bit tougher for a freshman. Not that he's, a heavyweight, but 38 coming in there, and you're in a tough room. You had a state qualifier in front of him, and then Kokendorfer was at 44 a bunch too. Like I know he had some injuries too. He was out for a little bit, so getting your feet back under is huge. Like you're a freshman, you're trying to find your way at 138, and before last year, we only had a singular champ north of 130, and then we got two last year. But that could be an interesting match with. The winner of either of those. I think that quarter bracket's a really good quarter bracket. Even the guy without a ranking next to him, Miles Carr, has been in and out of the rankings, been on the watch list for a long time.
Yeah. So last quarter bracket, this should be a good one. Got number 28 in the state, number 4 in the semi-state.
Number 1 in Rocco's heart.
No. He has a friend named Dane. Wrong Dane.
Oh, I thought he told me Dane Pippinger. I thought Dane Pippenger's out there throwing fastballs.
No. Oh yeah. He's a baseball player, so he obviously is a fan of anyone that plays baseball. Yes, that too. Braden Rice of Northfield Senior has had a pretty solid career for them. Jason Landers of Jay County, and Junior, and then number 13 the state, 3 in the semi-state, Noah Dove. East Side Dove is a nightmare to coach. He just any kind of if you want a dramatic match, his matches will be dramatic. They are crazy. They're high scoring. He beat Henry Ferrote, or lost to Ferrote 19-7.
A lot of points.
They lost to Douglas. He teched Braden Rice earlier in the year, so I do not think he's wrestled Pippinger, which is kind of surprising because they're kind of in the same. It could be Garrett Pepple from East Noble could be coaching against his old team. So a little bit of that should be a good one.
Fortnite streamer Garrett Pepple.
Yeah, he's the head coach at Eastside.
I know. He wears a green suit, man.
Yeah, they said the yellow suits this year.
My man has some fashion, bro. I like it. That could be a really good match. Dove has had some really good wins. A couple of really talented sophomores, and like I said, like 4 wins going in the right direction. I know that our providing sponsor CWA Contenders, but I think they've done a really good job with some of the academies out there too to kind of get people opportunities to wrestle together and get better. So that could be a really good match for a ticket of a couple sophomores that'll be back next year too.
Yep. 144, Keegan Hallis of Eastbrook, senior, undefeated. He has another tough freshman from Lakeland, Jezra Graber. The other matchup, number 6 and 7 in the semi-state, you have number 7, Parker Barnes of Bluffton, who's had some good sophomore. Jordan Raines of Homestead. Nightmare to rank, number 6 in the semi-state, 24 in the state. I know he got some interesting places of rankings here because you have Hallis ranked in the state higher, and you don't have Graber. This is where some disagreements are happening.
Yeah, sure. We've been known to disagree. So it's all right though. We like each other.
Yeah.
So let's start at the bottom part of that. Jordan Raines, incredibly talented. When he wrestles his match, I think he's incredibly hard to beat. But there's times that I feel like he does wrestle the other people's matches. So that could be an interesting one right off the bat with that 6'7". We haven't even got to Andrew Wilson yet, and are dropping some 6'7s, right?
Yes.
But he had a tough loss to the Maryville kid, first round of Al Smith, and then wrestled all the way back and wrestled really well. And I think the Maryville kid, he ended up placing, the Maryville kid didn't. Jezra Graber has had some good wins. I know he had a win over Gabe Myers, I believe, and he's sleeper pick, man. We keep him on the down low. We don't talk about him. We just let him fly right under the radar.
Kind of like Bruno.
Yeah, he's like Bruno. Two Disney references. It's not even the Disney show, guys. Keegan Hallis, undefeated senior. Snuck in the rankings at the end. Obviously, Caleb and I had a disagreement there, but I feel like if you're undefeated and at that point and you've already been to semi-state at some point, I think that there's probably a good chance that you're pretty solid. And he's put himself in a good position here where he's going to be in the mix with all guys that have he's the lowest ranked semi-state wrestler and the lowest ranked state ranked wrestler in that bracket. So the two guys unranked.
So should be a good quarter bracket there. Going down, you got Bryson Brossimer from Concord, senior, 31-4. Corbin Gosher of Wabash, Tanner Ellis of Columbia City, and number 21, Gabe Myers of Belmont. Brossimer, there's a little bit of a disagreement there in rankings, but that should be a good one. I do not see that they wrestled at the Al Smith, but Brossimer was in the semifinals and Myers did not place, but kind of came out, had a good Al Smith and put his name out there that he's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think that was one that was a surprising one because I think he had lost at the sectional the year before, right?
He was like 0-2 or 1-2 at sectional. I think he was 0-2 at sectional. And he went to semi-state the year before because he had a profile. I'm like, what's going on? So asked our guy, Colin Kroom. I was like, what was up with him? Was he not like injured at sectional? He's like, yeah, he's coming off like a broken foot or something. And like, okay, that makes sense because the kids had some solid wins during his career, some close matches at some of the ISWA events. And so I was like that was definitely a one-off sectional last year. And running into the semifinals at Al Smith, that's not easy.
No, and you know, he had some really good wins. I know he split with Dalton Robson there. Of his 4 losses, I don't know who his 4th is, but he has Peyton Hornsby. He lost to Amron Pratt 1-0, and then he lost to Dalton Robson on the flip back. But that's pretty good. Like those are good guys. And Robson obviously is eliminated now. He had a real tough regional draw. But I mean, Hornsby's a Fargo champ, and Amron Pratt's, I believe, a regional champ, right? So that'll be an interesting matchup there. And I think Tanner Ellis had a pretty solid. Nice. I think Tanner Ellis had a pretty good showing at the Al Smith also, but that'll be a tough one right off the bat. Columbia City, Belmont, or Columbia City's not Al Smith. I don't know what I'm thinking, but so Gabe Myers solid. That could be an interesting match right there for Bossamer, and if he pulls out, then Caleb can say, "Dang, you were right, and I was wrong."
Yep, should be a good quarter bracket there. Going down,
and if he's right and I'm wrong, I'm just not going to answer his call.
So Sam Mosier, returning 4th place finisher at state. He has a tough Kane Carter from Eastside. Not the draw Eastside really wanted there, but you got a sophomore that doesn't have anything to lose there. Number 29, the state. His brother's not bad. I mean, Carter's going to be, he's going to be fueled up on the special sauce from Butler McDonald's, so you can never count him out. I mean, I have heard that's where Barry Bonds got some of his good stuff.
Okay, the cream in the clear coming out of there. I'm gonna note it.
Wyland Buck. So okay, that's who it was. I think that was a loss. We were looking for the losses for him for Al Smith, and it's like that one's not a. That was an interesting loss, I guess. But Wyland. Speaking of you say his name 3 times. Wyland Buck of Northridge, senior versus Braid Arthur of Oak Hill. And so Mosier is in a good spot, but definitely a tough first round match.
Yeah. Arthur, obviously, there's a couple Arthurs that have gone to Oak Hill. They're pretty solid. He's had a good season. But Waylon Buck sounds like he's had some good wins also. Yeah. That could be a really interesting one. King Carter's had some good wins this year. I know he's been in the rankings. I believe he beat Kokendorfer a couple times when he was still at 44. He beat Jesra Graber. So I think Mosier's tough, though, man. Mosier's the real deal. Obviously, he's got a medal. He's a state semifinalist last year. He wrestles a very, clean style. That's, like if you're teaching kids, you want to win a lot of matches, like watch a guy that holds position really well and scores. When he wants to attack, he scores. And when you attack, he scores. His 3 losses, I know he lost 2 he was at Carnahan also. Then he also lost to Fernandez at Team State. No, he lost to Joe Pawn and Fernandez at Team State. I don't know who his other loss was to.
Braylon Reynolds.
Braylon Reynolds, pretty tough, man.
Not a bad loss.
Not a bad loss. So 3 pretty good losses. Yeah. 3 guys that, was state rankings, and he bumped up for 1. So,
yep. So bottom half bracket or quarter bracket going to be another good one. These 1s and 4s. Fort Wayne are almost better than some of the other ones. Malachi Tholner from New Haven, number 10 in the state, number 3 in the semi-state. Wyatt Mann from South Adams, number 2 in the semi-state, number 15 in the state. So another disagreement. Again, Mike's going to have counseling with the other rankings guys to make sure we're on the same page.
We're
going to have a group therapy session this offseason.
I like that we have our own opinions of things.
I do too. I love it. I mean, I say that jokingly, but you have 2 people that are kind of seeing things in a little bit different manner, and it's also statewide versus semi-statewide is a little bit different because you're at semi-state, you're not taking into account a lot more of the out of the semi-state matches as much as you are the semi-state itself.
Yeah, a little bit. I was a little bit surprised to see Wyatt Mann take 4th at his regional. I thought coming down from 50, that was a really good move for him. And he had been wrestling really well. Obviously, he had a lot of really good wins. I mean, in my prediction, when I'm looking at it, Malachi Tholner had a loss to Ryan Kokendorfer by fall, and he has a loss to Jordan Reigns. Where Wyatt Mann has a couple wins over Ryan Kokendorfer. Yeah, at least one win over Ryan Kokendorfer. But then you have he lost to Dylan Ugg, who's up now, and then Ashton Goney, then what he's lost in the state series. So, not the time to have a bad day, And then you grab a guy that's really good in Malachi Tholner. So that's going to be a good match. Like Tholner is a really tough. Who did Tholner lose to last year at the semi-state?
I
think he had a tough match there too. He had a tough draw, right?
Yeah, he lost to as we go down, Henry Farrow, 11-5.
Henry Farrow. Yeah, so that could be another one that's going to be tough right off the bat. So those guys up and ready. Like you're going to have a little bit of time, but senior versus sophomore, and I'm sure New Haven's going to have him ready, and I'm sure South Adams going to have Mann ready.
Yep, and then the bottom match, Tate Barlow, Northfield, 44-3. He has freshman Tatum Jones of Northwood. I think Jones been around a little bit, pretty solid freshman. Definitely can't overlook him, but should be a good match there.
Yeah, and I think that could be a really interesting one too, where Barlow and I was defending the position of Caleb over my position on that, so I thought we had it flipped. Barlow 44-3, senior. That's gonna be tough too. I mean, like those guys could like wrestle that match and then have that little bit of relief and get ready to oh man, that was the match punch my ticket, and then you run into a guy that has 3 losses, one to King Carter, one to Luke Weaver, and I'm not sure his third losses too, but not an easy draw by any means.
Yeah. So 150 should be another good weight class. Lathan James, Huntington North, regional champ sophomore. Pretty good quarterback. Should be a good match here. He has Ashton Goney of Cowan, state qualifier last year as a freshman. Having some injuries, I believe, right now. Should be interesting to see how that how it works out there. What is that? I wonder how he beat Robinson. So that he only had one loss going in this state series, and then defaulted for 4th last week. So hopefully he's able to wrestle. So that could be a good one. Obviously, he's pretty highly ranked in the state and the semi-state. Then you have Andrew 6'7" Wilson of East Noble. He has Ryan Kokendorfer from Garrett Senior. Wrestled real well last week, avenged the loss from the previous week. So that should be a good one. The Garrett East Noble rivalry, DeKalb and Noble counties clashing. So that should be a pretty wide open quarter bracket. Kind of the rankings are kind of all over the place, but I mean, this is going to be a hard one to predict.
Yeah, I know Lathan James came over from Carroll. I didn't see him in the Carroll lineup, so I thought maybe he just retired from wrestling. And then I seen that when he was at Huntington, I had seen that he was undefeated. I think it was before he took his first loss. So he had slipped in the rankings for a little bit, and then he's kind of fell out of it. Like still ranked in the semi-state. Ashton Goney, really, really tough. Returning state qualifier. Tough room, but like you said, when you default that 3rd and 4th place match, you don't always put yourself in a good position. And then of the other champs that wasn't in his regional, like maybe I don't know where they feel at. Like that was the right fit for them. Maybe that's it. And then Andrew Wilson's had a really good season his junior year. Has had a good Spartan Classic. Ryan Kokendorfer is really good though. I think I've asked you. I know Caleb left him off the last semi-state ranking. And before I did the last state ranking, I kind of asked, do I put him in there? I know, I don't always disagree with Caleb, but I've seen him wrestle well. And I think that's the hard part is, when I've seen him, I see he's taken some losses too. But when I've seen him, I thought he's wrestled well. And I thought he wrestled really well at Team State against Ryan Hall. Or not Ryan Hall, but Carter Hall. And I remember thinking dude, who's just mopping the mat with Carter Hall? Because I think he didn't win it by tech. And Carter Hall doesn't get beat up a lot. And I was like, oh, that's Kokendorfer. And I seen him at Al Smith where he was in a tough match. He kind of, I think he got DQ'd on, a tough call last year. And it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be shocked to see Kokendorfer punch a ticket there, honestly.
he's the one that when he's wrestling his match, um, he's pretty solid. He's gonna do some damage. It just depends on, like I said, he avenged the loss. A totally different match between the 2 weeks before the sectional and regional, and it's like, oh, that it was just night and day. So, maybe he's wrestling a little bit better now. I mean, they're kids. They're up and down. So once they get going in a good direction, just keep them going that way.
Yep.
So next quarter bracket, got 2 state qualifiers possibly meeting up. Dylan Ogg of Adams Central, 39-2 on the year. He has number 10 in the semi-state, David Nito of Kokomo. Branson Sykes of Carroll, Fort Wayne, or just Carroll.
Just Carroll.
He has a state qualifier, Kevin Tom, qualifier last year. He's 23-4, so really good quarter bracket here with 3 ranked guys.
Yeah, Nito's had some good wins too. Looking at some of the guys when I was doing the rankings, he had some wins over some ranked guys or guys who were right in the cusp of being ranked. But yeah, you have 2 guys that had punched tickets before. That'll be an interesting matchup because I think those guys kind of have styles that contrast a little bit too.
Yeah, Kevin Tom, not in the final state rankings, but he's lost to Andrew 6767 Wilson, beat him back at regional. So has a couple other good wins.
He DMP'd at Al Smith, right?
Yeah. So bottom bracket, Dallas Davidson, Angola, another returning state qualifier in this bracket. He has Braden Gerke of Eastside Junior, 35-10. And then 2 guys with state rankings, Caden Jones, Oak Hill, number 26, and returning state qualifier, Wyatt Hoppus from Yorktown, 18-4. Another it should be a really good match there. I wonder if they wrestled last year.
Yeah, Caden Jones had a really good. He might have been undefeated going to the state tournament too. And Oak Hill always has some guys that want. They don't hear. I don't know. I don't hear a lot about Oak Hill all through the season, and then come state tournament time, you're like, oh, like that guy's pretty good. And that was kind of Caden Jones this year. Wyatt Hoppus, really good wrestler. Does he dye his hair like green or something?
Yeah. He always has his hair dyed. He has unique hairstyles.
So that could be a really good one. Obviously, you have 6 combined losses in that first match, and then Dallas Davison, 36-1 senior state qualifier. So you're gonna have a pair of state qualifiers in back-to-back brackets, possibly contending for a ticket to go back to Indy.
Yep, another matchup there, and then the bottom quarter bracket, Ian Hutchison from Homestead having a real good senior year, 33-7. He has Cameron Moyer from Jimtown, another senior. Sam Wolpert of Belmont, another senior, number 24 in the state, and then Owen Tolley from Eastern Greentown, another of Eastern Greentown, Pekin. Can we get more unique names? Number 11, the semi-state, with only 3 losses on the year so far.
Yeah, Wolpert and Tolley will be a good match right off the bat. Wolpert's had some he kind of up and down also, right? Like he's had some good wins, he's had some interesting losses, but when he's wrestling well, he's tough to beat. I know he looks pretty good at Team State also. I believe he lost to Joe Pond there. I think Joe Pond, it was a really good match at Al Smith, and then I think that it was a little bit further at Team State. Ian Hutchinson, I thought of all the Homestead guys, and I could be completely off base just looking at results, I thought he was one of the more improved guys from last year.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was a guy that has wrestled really well, and I thought he wrestled well at Center Grove. I thought he's wrestled well the entire year because I thought he had some pretty solid wins there.
He lost to Vanderloo Garten, lost to Dylan Lane. He beat Davison earlier in the year. Lost to Grady from Lawrence North, and then had a real good Al Smith. Beat Tapia, lost to Malone twice, lost to Kirkpatrick. He's had a real good schedule, but he's wrestled real well. Well,
man, he has 12 notable wins just in the season before state tournament. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 notable wins, notable matches. Yeah, that's pretty good. And he's wrestled some of the guys that are, your losses are still competing right now. I think that's always. I mean, that's always a thing that you don't want losses that are done at the regional or done at the sectional. So.
Yep. 157. We even talk about this.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This we can go back to the original conversation of, Guy Pierce got that tough draw from Oak Hill.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Gage Pierce.
Yeah, Gage Pierce.
Gonna wreck some shop this weekend. Or Elvis. I'm gonna pull for Elvis.
Elvis Reyes. Well, they didn't do the champs used to get a bye. When I was there, so
good old days.
That's back when winning that third and fourth place match meant something.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah. So Lincoln Carter, returning state third place finisher. He has Elvis. It will be in the building on Saturday. Reyes from Angola. I'm guessing they have wrestled a couple times. I'm just based on records. I'm going to go out on a fairly strong limb to say that Lincoln has won those. Gage Pierce, Oak Hill versus Maverick Dubois, returning 8th place finisher in the state last year from Adams Central. Obviously, we kind of knew this was a possibility. We did not want to look at the brackets to see that, and we did see that, unfortunately. So that's the way Fort Wayne does it. And if we move the champion or the second place guy down the other bracket, probably people won't be complaining as much other than the other guys in that place.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be a good one. They've wrestled a couple times at semi-state, and Carter has come out on top both times. So that should be, I think last year I don't think they wrestled last year, but the year before.
Is Lincoln Carter the first number one ranked in the state wrestler we've talked about out of Fort Wayne?
Yes.
And
you don't like Fort Wayne, remember?
No, it's not that I don't like Fort Wayne. He's earned that. Like that's not a given thing. That's an earned. Obviously, he's returning third placer. Had a really good Super 32. Ended up injury defaulted out, but I thought he looked really good there. I think I thought he looked really good last year, and then watching him wrestle at Super 32, I think he even looked better. I haven't got to see a lot of Lincoln Carter matches this year, competing this season, and obviously next week if he qualifies, because anything could happen. But I'm excited to see where that falls. I think that 157. I'm excited for a possible. I hope they don't rob me of this. Maverick Dubois is going to come in and try to be spoiler, but I think the matchup I've been looking forward to out of the Fort Wayne semi-state is going to be a Jackson Bradley, Lincoln Carter possible final, and not to get ahead of ourselves. But Joe's right. Like there's always, I feel like, there's bad draws everywhere. Like that's the system. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I think if you had an independent entity of guys that are fans that don't have a lot of, skin in the game that could just, do an unbiased ranking, seeding the top 8 guys, the 1 and 2s of every regional, I think we could make this a lot more evened out, semi-state bracket, and this wouldn't happen like it does every year. But until that happens, which, I'm guessing if I had to put my money on it would be never, these guys get to go up and get pumped, and, Maverick Dubois can, shock the world and knock the first number 1 out of the bracket, or Lincoln Carter could defend that number 1. And, that's not looking past Gage Pierce of Oak Hill, who's had a good season, 22-15, and Elvis Reyes. So,
yeah.
But, yeah, tough draw there, man. Like, if you got a medal, and I think Dubois was at a different weight at some point, right? Dude, I don't know what happens at Adams Central's room. I don't know, but you have to understand that there's a possibility of that. I don't know how it shakes out at the other weights, but
there's some pretty solid guys at 50, 57, 65. So
yeah, that's
you can't really. Nope. 75 is pretty solid too. So
yep.
You really don't. You're kind of stuck. Someone's gonna
have
to bite the bullet and go up against someone like Jackson Bradley.
Yep.
And it is what it is. That's the path that's out there. So
if I was channeling my inner IHSAA and we sent an email and the response would be, well, you got to beat them all anyways. You do a single champ anyways. So You know,
So yeah, if we seeded the champs, obviously Carter would be 1, Bradley would be 2. So I don't know how you'd put the 2 and 3s from the other ones, but there is a possibility that that match could be there too.
I did I did it for East Chicago. It didn't get as much buzz as I thought it would. Also, Triple B's post didn't get as much buzz as I thought it would too. But you know, the forum's the forum, man. You can go to social media and say whatever you want, and Joe can't, you know, ban you or, you know, you can't control what you say. But I just did 1, 2, and then like put the 2s on the other side, so it wasn't like super crazy. So if that were the case here, if you just did the 4s, Lincoln would be 1, Bradley would be 2. Like obviously, there's no criteria. I don't know what the criteria would be between Blake Roberts and Evan Oglesby, but I would assume the 1s and the 2s and all the champs are seated right. But then I would probably drop the 2 from Jimtown into the bracket with Bradley, and the 2 from Peru into the bracket with Carter, and then you would have Duval and Roberts, and you know, whoever's the you know, Xander Martin of Garrett probably down with Oglesby.
Yeah,
but they're not they're not really doing that with us. They didn't ask us our opinion. Joe gets to have a little bit more of a voice because he'll be on the state bracket show on Sunday.
yes,
But it's an unfortunate thing. It sucks. It happens every year. Now, is it the most egregious one I've ever seen? No. Like, and I think that's the thing is like we get up in arms. Like, I know a lot of people, a lot of the old timers, because all the kids are in bed. Like that Dan Jankowski and Robert Rossbottom one was probably pretty egregious. You got a state champ and a state runner up,
yeah,
wrestling for a ticket. That's brutal. And I think Jankowski had lost in overtime the year before. And you're wrestling for a ticket to go to state. That's pretty tough, man. Like that might be the most egregious. And if they weren't trying to do wrestlebacks then, that was what, 25 years ago?
yeah.
27 years ago, maybe.
So, man, we got some chat going crazy here, talking about Pepple and Carter going at it. So anyway, next quarter bracket: Blake Roberts, Jimtown Junior, 28 and 8. Blake Pearl from Concordia. Charlie Ferrote, another Ferrote in the Belmont lineup, and number 28 in the state, number 5 in the semi-state. Patrick Flowers, so 5 and 6. I'm guessing they have wrestled, but he pinned Ferrote and decision over Ferrote. So will the third time be the charm for Ferrote? Interesting quarter bracket here. Definitely a wide open one with a 5, 6, and 2 unranked guys.
Did Blake Roberts wrestled at Al Smith, correct?
I believe so, yes. I thought he placed.
I thought he placed too. That's what I was going to ask. That was my next question. Let's see. We have this thing called US. There's a website for that. It's called USA Bracketing. No, he DMP'd. Lost to Vanderloo Guerin. Beat Trent Vince. Beat Ellis McAllister. And then lost to Charles Ferrote.
So,
Tech Fall.
Interesting.
So, yeah. I mean, other people's misfortune, all the people that are sad about the Duval-Carter matchup, I'm guessing Charles Ferrote and Patrick Flowers, probably not as sad.
No, they're not.
they're probably hitting me with the what the coaches tell me when I ask them about wrestlebacks. Like, it's happened to us before, so we're taking the win. So that'll be an interesting match. Obviously, Flowers has been the favorite there, and if Ferrote, gets past Flowers, or Flowers gets past Ferrote, like Flowers has to have a little bit of confidence if he teched, Blake Roberts, but that was also 2 months ago.
Yep. So going down, Jackson Bradley, number 2 in the state, number 1 in AJ Bradley's rankings, though. 3-time state medalist, having a real good career. I believe he's going to Purdue. Evan Williams of Eastern Greentown, Eastern Pekin. We'll talk about tomorrow. Alex Diaz Ruiz from Goshen, number 8 in the semi-state, and number 11 in the semi-state, Xander Martin of Garrett, who has 11 losses, and I think all of them are on his profile. I don't know if he does have one good win on his profile. Come on, Nick, we gotta get him a couple more wins.
This is a good win. Shout him out, bro.
He has 1, 2, man, that looks bad. Come on, Nick, we need to get some wins on that profile. He's tough. He's solid. He'll get after it. He scraps. he's probably he's wrestled Lincoln Carter for the past few weeks, and finally like I'm gonna be opposite side of him, and then he gets Jackson Bradley. Just
If he wrestles Lincoln Carter this week, he's going to be pretty excited.
yeah, yes, yeah.
He'll probably
No one's gonna complain if they wrestle Lincoln Carter. Nick Duke hung out with Evan Williams in college.
Evan Williams, the whiskey maker. So
you can tell he's from Marion.
Yeah, I think that'd be a tough, that'd be an interesting first round match. Obviously, 8 in the semi-state, 11 in the semi-state, Martin and Ruiz. And then, there was conversation after the Carnahan to move Jackson Bradley possibly to 1. Mm-hmm. And, obviously I talked to you about it. Like, that was one of those things. Like he had a win over Parker Reynolds there. He had a win over Deacon Dressler. And it was like, man, those are really good wins. And he lost to a kid from Dundee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was and that kid's really good too. But obviously Carter was undefeated, and I was like, let's just roll with it. We'll put them 1 and 2, and eventually they'll work it out. So possibly this could be the weekend they work it out, and if the rankings hold up, that could be back-to-back weekends under the lights. You guys do Spotlight at Fort Wayne?
They have kind of dimmed the lights a little bit. Not totally a spotlight, but they could if they wanted to, but there's only one spotlight. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
all others are imitations.
I've seen a couple of regionals with some spotlights, so just asking.
It's like getting the Fruit O's instead of Fruit Loops.
Oh man, come on, bro. What you're telling me? You guys got to be in the bargain. The regional championships, the bargain shopping. Get the Aldi's brand. All right. Hey, shout out to Aldi's though. They're trying to make that a better dietary restrictions for everybody. So
yeah. So bottom quarter bracket: Evan Oglesby, Mechaniqua, number 19, the semi-state. He has Elijah Loshi of South Adams, number 10 in the semi-state. Number 30 in the state, Zayland Zaire of Leo, and Farouk Gafar of Northwood. Farouk's sister is a pretty good wrestler.
She is.
That might be a good match there. So should be interesting to see that quarter bracket. Oglesby only 1 loss
to Bryson Shurgeon.
Branson Shorten, yeah.
Branson. Zealand Zaires had some really good wins too. So I was a guy that when I was putting people into the rankings, I kept seeing his name, so it snuck him into the rankings that last one. That'd be a good first round match though. Farouk Gafar. Having a solid year, 26-10. Like, but you said like you probably got to scrap at the house. His sister's extra good. My sisters weren't good at wrestling, so I don't know how that is, but that'd be a tough one. And then Evans Oglesby's had a really good year, 31-1. Obviously, his 1 loss we'll talk about in the next page, right? And put himself in a good spot. I mean, you got 7 and 10 in your bracket, but when you're number 4, the rankings are on your side.
Yeah. So, going down this is 165, right? Yeah. Riley Biddle from East Noble, I believe he is going to play football at St. Francis, if I'm not mistaken. I saw that signing.
He's also a player, right?
Yeah. His only loss is to Clayton Fielden, one of the first matches of the year. Fielden's not bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So that was up a weight. He has Brinkston Jones of Cass. Austin Manley of Belmont has Noah Bowser of Carroll. Bowser won the previous matchup. Should be a good match. I believe Biddle beat Bowser by major decision earlier in the year. So a lot of guys with common matches. So that could be good or bad. I mean, you've had your hands on him. You can make the adjustments, and also could be some false confidence that you can beat him again. But that's why we wrestle him again.
Is Cass also Lewis Cass?
Yes.
They used to come out of East Chicago too.
Yeah. Clayton, Carter, whatever. They're all the same, Nick.
Yeah.
And I bet Clayton would beat Riley too. I'll just say that. I'm sorry. Sorry,
bro.
Clayton's still in pretty decent shape.
Riley, you go show up, bro. You do your work, man. Don't let him put you down like that.
I might pick Riley over Luke Fielden. Maybe Melissa too. No, Melissa's probably the toughest one.
Noah Bowser's had a good season. I know he was a guy that had a really good win at Tom Cameron over Carter Hegis of Harrison of West Lafayette, not of Evansville. And it was a guy that I think he only has 2 losses, so one of them was Bowser early on. But yeah, Beto's tough, man. He's had a really good year. I'm guessing he's a pretty good athlete if he's a good quarterback. Maybe he just slings that thing. I don't know.
So, yeah, we're just gonna Bill's gonna wrestle the whole field and family. So, going down, you got Sean Caldwell from Marion, senior, 35-2, number 3 in the semi-state. His losses are to Ashton Hahn and Ayashola. He has Eli Schwab from DeKalb, first round, and then Jackson Ensley from Garrett, unranked, and then number 11 the semi-state, Nathan Plattner from South Adams. So Caldwell in a good spot to qualify the Giants for for state.
Another Giant, right?
Yeah,
because they have a couple. But yeah, he's had a really good year. He's been a guy that's climbed the rankings. I think he started. I don't believe he was in the preseason rankings. Kind of climbed as it went on. Those are 2 good losses. I mean, we talked about not worrying about being undefeated, and he's had some really good wins, and you know, lost a couple tough guys, but 13 in the state, 3 in the semi-state. I think he's put himself in a good spot. Eli Schwab sounds like a guy I want to invest my money. I don't know if he does or not, but his parents set him up for success.
Yeah.
If you want a job at Cliffs, man, you come intern. Eli Schwab, that sounds like a guy I want to work. Jackson Enley of Garrett and Plattner, that should be a good one right off the bat for those guys. And then, obviously getting to that ticket round is going to be huge, but, Caldwell's probably going to be the favorite there.
I would say something about Ensley, but we'll keep that off the air. His aunt was a girlfriend of mine in 6th grade.
Dang.
Back
it's been downhill since then. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Life's been, yeah. No.
You could have had all this IndianaMat gear. Like, what was she thinking?
Yeah, I know. She could have lived the life of the queen of IndianaMat. Now, my current wife has that, so she gets all the IndianaMat gear. I mean, that's why she married me. She's like, man, you have a bunch of gear. So it's all that stuff. So bottom half bracket. Nolan Winokur, Fort Wayne Concordia, Lutheran, having a real good junior year. 3 losses on the year. Hopefully we have a couple of them. Strickland and Caden Roberts. I do not know who the other one is. Beating Bowser the past couple of weeks. I've seen Bowser wrestle a lot. He's obviously a senior from Carroll. Controlled both matches and put himself in a pretty solid spot. He has Raynon Dubois from West Dell, Moses Howard from Wawasee, number 8 in the semi-state. He will have number 18 in the state. Adrian Hahn of Wabash, having a pretty good sophomore year, 40-5. So that's pretty good quarter bracket. Winokur wrestling real well. I was very impressed with him the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, shout out to Winokur, regional champ, unranked, ranked in the semi-state. All 4 guys in that quarter bracket are ranked in the semi-state. So, and it's kind of seeded out how obviously you wouldn't, you mix it up a little bit, but yeah, that could be an interesting one. Hans had a really good season for Wabash. He's had some good wins in the offseason also. So, but I haven't seen Winokur, so I take your word for it.
Yeah. So I have him losing to, yeah. So I only have I have 5 losses. He's lost to Beck twice. Caldwell, Beck 3 times. Jeez.
Yeah. I would say
twice. So
he's probably happy Beck's not at the Fort Wayne semi-state anymore.
Yes. So Brayson Shortgen, Adams Central, number 5 in the state, number 1 in the semi-state, only 1 loss. That is to Jacob Cole. He has Devin Meineke. I'm sure you probably remember his dad that was wrestling back in the early 2000s. He Kyle Meineke was very fun to watch.
I'll say people, right?
Yeah, he almost put he's the one. He was in I think he was a 3rd or 4th place finisher at state, and I really wanted to see him wrestle Angel because he was in the same weight as Angel, and I was like, he's gonna try everything. He'll throw everything kitchen sink everything at you. So I was like, hey, if it he's gonna go down, he's gonna go down trying something, and he I think he ended up losing to Jimtown kid Perky, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So
Perky was
he's in there or not. Or no, Perky wrestled.
Angel in the
No,
Court.
no. He lost to the Yorktown kid. He lost to the Yorktown kid in the semis. So Meineke did. So that was back in the good old days when you had 3 Fort Wayne guys in the semis.
Yeah.
Trying to take out Angel Escobedo.
Angel has good success against Fort Wayne.
I think he had good success against everyone. The rest of the state. There wasn't a portion of the state he didn't have success against. So the bottom match, Corbin Kalhofer from Huntington North, Porter Kleberg from Central Noble, only a junior. Kleberg seems like he's been around for a while. Could have 5-22 there. Shortgen was a state qualifier last year.
Yeah, I think that was a nice little rundown memory lane for Devin Meineke. That like his dad had to wrestle pretty low if he was getting Angel. Back then Angel's never over 135, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like the son's a little bit bigger. It's 30 pounds bigger, but that could be that'd be an interesting match. But Shorten's tough, man. He's really tough. Kohlhofer and Kleberg, like you said, man, he's been around forever. Like I feel like he's been in the mix. I know he's been in the semi-state rankings for a long time. He's been like on the state watch list, and I'm actually shocked right now that he's a junior. I'm not going to say that it's wrong because I've been corrected the last couple times, but that could be a good match, 22-5.
Yep. They like the random mentions of names. Yeah. I was just looking up Meineke. He lost to Eric Johnson. I knew it was an Eric. 12-10 from
He was Yorktown kid, right?
Yeah. I knew there was an Eric, but I didn't.
Was that 35?
Yeah. 130.
130.
Yep. He was a qualifier, lost to some Matt Coughlin guy his freshman or his junior year, and then got 4th. Back when Columbia City was a powerhouse.
Yeah, they had some dudes, man.
Yeah. The Blank Culp Meineke. I think they were Thunder and Lightning, if I'm not mistaken. So 175. This is gonna be a great weight class. Man, that top quarter bracket's gonna be fun. Yeah. Wesley Hendrickson, undefeated senior from Winchester, following the great Winchester greats like Adam Chalfant. He has Elazar Engelmeyer from Goshen, sophomore. Paul Woods, another one with a dad that's pretty darn good at wrestling. And Remington Kressel, his brother's pretty good at wrestling. So I don't know if Hendrickson has any family lineage of wrestling or Engelmeyer does, but so some good matches there. You got 11, 16, and 29. Looks like everyone lined up well with you and Caleb, so that should be a good quarter.
Yeah, Hendrickson had a really good IPO. I know he had some big wins. I was surprised to see him go down from 90, but obviously regional champs put himself in a good spot here. Paul Woods and Remington Kressel. I think Kressel got added late. He had some good wins down the stretch. That'll be a good match right off the bat. To see who gets to that ticker round match. Couple really tough juniors going at it.
Yeah, Kressel, I don't have one of his losses, but he's also Litchfield and Gall 3 times. Paul Woods, he is number 8. He has a loss to Adams and Jemison, so I don't know who the other loss is to. Next quarter bracket, really good match. Another good one. Jacob B. Miller of Concord, Junior Owen Shane of Belmont. Belmont qualifying 12 for semi-state. That
shout out to the Braves, man.
So then you got number 25 and number 27, 6 and 7 in the semi-state. August Adams Carroll versus Christian Jemison from Huntington North. So that should be a good one. Both have identical records. Someone's not going to have an identical record after this match, so it should be a good one. They have not seen each other.
Yeah, both of the guys with rankings, state rankings and semi-state rankings in that bottom quarter bracket in there.
Yeah.
with the top guys not having any kind of ranking. But that'll be a good match. August Adams has had some really good wins this year, and Jemison, obviously, we just talked about, has had some really good wins. So
Yeah, they only caught they both wrestled Woods. Jemison is 1-1 with Woods, and uh, Adams beat him 14-0 last week. So I would say favor Adams. Obviously, rankings wise, that's where it's at, but it should be a good one there.
and I mean, not to shout out Jemison, but uh, doesn't always work like that. Just because someone beat someone, that you lost to, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to beat you.
Yep.
Transitive properties of wrestling doesn't always work like that. But I do feel like it's something that we can work off of. But I think August Adams had a really good season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So going down bottom half brackets can be pretty good too. Elijah Gall undefeated, number 2 in the semi-state, number 8 in the state. He has a Q Hunter of Snyder, sophomore, had some good wins. Snyder kids they're gonna come out and scrap. It could be a good one. I mean, when you have the power of the general, anything can happen. Ashton Hahn of Northwood and Xander Schwartz of Adams Central, 2 guys, 9 and 10 in the semi-state. So that should be a good match. Gall's really good, having a real good. Is he only a junior?
Yep.
Or is it? Okay. I was thinking he was a senior. So, and I know we had some grade issues on these brackets, so it's making me question things at times on these brackets.
Man, so Ashton Hahn, I feel like is a guy that's been around for a long time too. I know he had a really good middle school state when he was coming in, so he's kind of been in the mix. He's had some good Al Smiths. I don't know if he's ever. I don't know how his semi-states have gone. Like obviously he hasn't qualified, but really really tough. I think he's a pretty big, strong, athletic kid. And then Xander Schwartz I haven't seen, but he's in a really tough Adams Central's room, and I'm sure 37-4 with the schedule they wrestle. That's pretty good. Elijah Gall was almost the reason that me and Caleb broke up last year. We were here at ends. I don't know why that became my guy, but I know he had a really good youth career coming into high school, and then he had a really good year last year. He's had some huge wins, and for some reason Caleb wanted to talk a bunch of trash anytime that he did well or didn't do well, and maybe I was a year ahead of him, where I had him maybe higher last year and just was a year ahead of that, but he's having a really good season. And I hope that he wins state at 175, and I hope he texts his way through, because I will talk the most shit to Caleb, because man, he was for no reason whatsoever, because I've never talked trash to him about anything. And I don't know why he felt like that was the mountain to die on, but dude, I just felt like that was one of those things so Elijah Gall by default is my guy, and I'm going to pull from him in every single match. So
You're the conductor of the Elijah Gall hype train.
Yeah, I was telling someone this the other day. I was telling Travis this. I feel like sometimes I catch some strays. I don't even feel like I go in there and talk good trash. I'm not even trash talking you guys, and I feel like I catch strays for no reason.
It's because we've taken the beatings from the region for so long.
But man, I feel like that's one of those things. I don't even say nothing bad. I need to step my trash talk game up, because dude, I can be ruthless.
You drinking some chocolate milk there?
I don't drink milk. This is Milo's tea, man. This should be the providing sponsor of the show. This is my favorite.
So that's gonna be a good quarter bracket. Gall's having a real good year, and obviously in a good position to punch his ticket for Northfield. Bottom quarter, Carter Fielden, number 1 in the semi-state, 4th in the state. Had state medal as a freshman, qualifiers 2 years ago. He has a tough Grant Howard from Madison. Grant's had some good wins. That's not going to be a rollover match for him. Obviously, he's wrestled some of the better kids in this bracket multiple times. So that's not exactly the best draw. Proves pretty solid at this weight class. Brian Fields, Jay County versus Brody Young and Wawasee, both unranked juniors.
Howard's a big move guy too, right? He's got some big moves in his arsenal. That could be a fun match.
Oh, Caleb's gonna talk about catching strays, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
We need to talk about stray cats. I even trash talk that guy.
So 190. Starting out with Jax Litchfield, Heritage. He does have a capital in his first name. We'll fix that. He has, I'll put that on my notes of things to update. He has Brady Bannister from Blackford, 7-15 record. Litchfield only has one loss.
Shane Hollingsworth said Field wins it off. The state? I mean, I think 75 is wide open. That could be a good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a fun weight class, even starting here at semi-state and pretty much every semi-state. So Bannister 7-15. You got Dylan Underwood, number 29 in the state, versus Austin King from Northwood, who's number 9 in the semi-state, 8-9 in the semi-state. So that should be a good one. King's another good one from North. Had some good placed twice at the Al Smith, so he's no slouch. Should be an interesting quarter bracket.
Shout out to Brady Bannister. Tough draw. Qualifying for the semi-state at 7-15 for Blackford. Everyone's 0-0 when they started off, man. Don't let that record get in your way. Don't worry about all that. Just go out there and wrestle. But you don't get to see a lot of 7-15s in the semi-state bracket. So congratulations, putting it together at the right time. Jackson Litchfield's a guy that had a really good summer. He took a loss to Wesley Somerset early on. I know he's avenged that loss. He's really tough. He got 40 matches. I thought there was some weigh-in point issues, but that's not even that many matches. I thought he was going to be 50-0.
Yeah. So, that should be a good one. He wrestled real good sophomore.
Yeah.
So, going down, you got Xavier Palacios, only 2 losses from Belmont, 8th in the state last year. He lost to Dalton Pledger and Kyle Harden. So that should be a good match. He has Jaden Cochran of Carroll. Not a good match for Cochran there, but then he's Cochran's 7 in the semi-state. Blake Ralston, unranked versus unranked Jared Prickett of Oak Hill. So the Oak Hill Wawasee match there. Palacios is a heavy favorite to punch his ticket. He looked real good at Al Smith.
Yeah, Palacios is really good. I know they always say X. He's kind of their guy. I know he beat Sanat when they bumped him up in the duel. I think they sent Izzy out there to save points. Super athletic, 190, can score points. He's good, man. He's really good. That's a tough draw for Cochran. And then obviously you have 2 guys without rankings next to their name. Doesn't mean they can't punch their ticket, but I believe he's the only state placer in that bracket for you guys. He is.
Yep.
And when you get your draw, it's probably not. You don't want a guy that's a returning state placer that has single under 5 losses.
Yep. And they also have a pretty good schedule too. So
they do.
Going down bottom half bracket, you got Jordan Simon, North Miami, 39-2, number 14 in the state. He lost to Litchfield, and I do not know who the other losses to. He has Owen Scholl, freshman from Angola, Landon Smith from Whitco. There's 2 Landon Smiths still left.
Both of them on schools that have W's.
Yes, Whiteland and Whitco, and one is at 106, one is at 190. Screwing up my brackets, I'm going to tell you that much. And then West Somerset from South Adams Jr., number 19 in the state. So that should be a good one. I do not believe they have wrestled. So I don't think they saw each other at team state. So should be a good, really interesting match there. Somerset's a big move guy, real good athlete.
Yep.
Simon's obviously probably a good athlete. North Miami has a good program. They're going to be kind of in that mix to win a team, semi-state title, and this is a match that they're going to need.
Yeah, Somerset's had some really good wins. He had a win over Litchfield early on. He's taken a couple losses here or there. Landon Smith also spells the same, is named the same way as the other Landon Smith, so also confusing.
Yes. Yeah, that's screwing up all my links of on my spreadsheet because I link it by their first name, so then I had to change everything to add their school name.
Jordan Simon, kind of that throwback, right? Like it used to be when you have some smaller schools, you would have, 2 guys close to in weight, and they would be able to train together. And you have Hartley Hoover and Jordan Simon, so those guys are able to, a little bit of a throwback to those old, Bluffton, Ben Sprunger, and Who was the other guy? Ben Sprunger and
Sprunger and geez, I see his name. He's the coach there now. Geez, Ben and Persley. Not Persley.
Randy Presley.
Yeah, Randy Persley and Sprunger.
Some smaller schools where you're going to have good training partners, and North Miami has that. They have some spots where they have some guys that are really good that probably get to wrestle a lot. Maybe they don't wrestle at all in the room, but I would assume that Simon wrestles Hartley a lot, and I'm assuming that McIntyre and Rex Moore probably wrestle a good amount too.
Mm-hmm. So bottom quarter bracket: Brogan Parks, West Noble sophomore, 33-4. Interesting, Matt. He's lost twice to Joe Richmond, who's in the bottom of that, and then lost to Litchfield and Simon. Both all close matches. So all decisions: 5-0 and 3-1 to Richmond, 4-1 to Simon, 4-0 to Litchfield. So he's pretty solid. Beat a good. He pinned Austin King. That's not he's a solid wrestler. So he has Fabian Zamudio Gibson from Eastbrook. Max Nussbaum of Adams Central will have Joe Richmond of Eastside. Eastside looking to maybe get a couple qualifiers here. Should be a good quarter bracket. Obviously Richmond's had some close matches with Parks, so a little bit of confidence, but also knowing that it's going to be a grinder. It's going to be a good match there. So will be interesting to see how that goes.
The Fort Wayne expert says Placio the clear favorite here, but otherwise this weight feels wide open and one of the weights to watch on Saturday. I agree. I think there's
all these quarter brackets other than the one with Palacios.
Yeah, I think
even Latchfield. I guess this bottom half is going to be your pick'ems buster or breaker or whatever. I don't know.
I think Eastside's done a really good job. They have some really good kids. Joe Richmond's having a really good year. Obviously 40-4. They wrestle a pretty good schedule. But Brogan Parks, 33-4 sophomore. He's going to be in the mix for the next couple of years.
Yeah. Yep. Him and Richmond are going to wrestle a little bit more, most likely. Should be interesting to see how this shakes out. So 215. So a lot of young guys here, especially out of the Fort Wayne portion, which is good for us. Johnny Bear, he's getting as big as a bear. Homestead, real good wrestler, real good sophomore. Taking some good he's taking some losses, but they've wrestled a good schedule and wrestling well at the right time here.
Here, I'll give you guys a hot take, and I'm sure all my East Chicago guys are done. If EC draws Fort Wayne Friday night, you guys might shut them out
at 215.
At 190, no,
190. Okay.
Stop.
Oh, geez,
pump the brakes. We're not.
I didn't even. I was just trying to figure out
that'd be a real hot take.
Yeah.
I would take the field against. I would take Caesar against the field right now.
Yeah,
but
yes.
Yeah,
I was like, that's why I was like 215. What?
Now, is it gonna happen? I don't know how they work out, but 190 is, I think, stronger at Fort Wayne than it is at East Chicago.
Yeah. Should be, could be. I think 215 there is pretty, or 190 is pretty solid. I like some of our 215s. I don't think they're going to shut out any semi-states, but I think we could have a couple placers. We have some guys that are kind of sneaky under the radar.
But they could shut out. I think that's one of the more, I'm not going to say like worst weights at Evansville because my boy Thacker's there and he's the pork chop making king of Evansville. And I like pork chops, but like, if you draw like Evansville, possibly. But like I said, I wouldn't. I would say that I would still take East Chicago's 215s.
Yeah, I would too.
Over there.
I'd at least take one of them.
At least one of them for sure.
I would, unless something crazy happens. So
yeah.
So back to Fort Wayne. Johnny Bear, Homestead, having a real good year. Wrestling well at the right time. He has Eric Krugstye. Bear Avenged lost to Aiden Hunt at regional. Lost to him earlier this year at Al Smith, I believe. Yeah. Lost by Tech Mall 15-0. So he's came back and won. Jake Boots, Bluffton against Taden Getz of East Noble. Getz, I was told earlier in the year, he gave Aiden Hunt from Garrett a pretty solid match. Solid junior for East Noble. Definitely don't want to overlook him, so that could be a good match. I do not believe East Noble and Homestead wrestled. If they did, those two did not meet up, so it could be a 5-7-10. So Bear putting himself in a pretty good spot by winning sectional.
I think he's got better as the years gone on too. I think he took some of those losses early in the year at the Center Grove thing. I know he called it the Curry Clash. I don't know if it has a real name. Yeah, he lost to Jackson there. He lost to Flores. He's lost to Colin Wetzel, Landon Reynolds of Penn, Derek Morrison, and then Aiden Hunt. But I thought like past at Al Smith, he started churning a little bit, and it looks like he's really wrestling well right now, which is the most important thing. So you're right, he put himself in a good spot. I haven't seen enough of Jake Boots of Bluffton. Speaking of Bluffton and old Bluffton throwbacks. And then East Noble's Taden Getz, I haven't seen enough of him either. But like Aiden Hunt's tough.
Yeah.
So if he had a good match with him early on, that speaks to how tough he is too.
Yep. Next quarter bracket, you got Hartley Hoover, North Miami, returning state qualifier, 40-0. He has Jaden Berry of Carroll. Berry's a pretty impressive athlete. He could, if you're overlooking someone like him, that's not a good thing. Hoover's wrestling real well, though. The bottom match will be Austin Abbott of Prairie Heights and Ethan Funk of Adams Central. It will throw back, speaking of throwback, of two pretty solid 1A programs, and I do not believe they have wrestled. So could be a good match right there. 6-11 in the semi-state.
Yeah, tough spot though. I mean, Hartley Hoover's good. He had a really good Friday night match last year with Austin Reading of Crown Point, but looking to make it back undefeated. One of the three undefeated wrestlers from North Miami. I know we're getting to the end of this, and I know we have not as much North Miami love in the group chat as we have some of the other programs that are be competing for the team title. But that'd be kind of cool. North Miami did give us a hard time. I say us as a representative. They gave Dane a hard time, but like we take all the arrows for Dane too, of not giving them enough respect in the seating and stuff. But they go out and win the semi-state because they have some pretty strong individuals. That'd be a nice a nice program win.
Yeah, good feather in their cap. Bottom half bracket, returning state qualifier, Derek Morrison, Wawasee. He has Alan Ortiz, who I think he spent a lot of time in the rankings. I don't know who he beat, but you and Caleb have loved him for many a years. I think he's been in the rankings for at least 5 years.
He's had some good. His sophomore year, he had a really good win over someone that was pretty good, and then it was a 215, and then he moved up to heavyweight, and he didn't take a lot of losses, so it wasn't like who did he beat as a sophomore? I thought he beat someone at the semi-state that was pretty good.
Let me see. Those should still be in there. He beat some, yeah. He beat Caleb Evans.
Yeah, so we like Caleb Evans. He was pretty tough. And so like last year he was able to, go up to heavyweight, and then like obviously Caleb Evans had a really good run, and it kind of kept him around, and then he ended up taking some losses, and obviously I don't know how big he was, if he's back at 215 now, but that's kind of what we're talking about there, like why he's been around in there. I thought I had him at heavyweight most of the year this year. I don't know if he's wrestled 215 the entire year. But obviously you beat Caleb Evans. Don't count him out. He's had some success in that building. But Derek Morrison's tough. He's a goer, man.
Yeah. So next match will be Caden Moyer, Huntington North, Chase Klein from New Haven, both unranked Northeast State rivals. I do not know who's won those matches previously, but Morrison obviously a favorite to make his second trip to state. He's pretty solid and well coached, has a pretty good coach. Mr. Salazar, Jamie Salazar, D3 national runner-up heavyweight. So he knows how to get those big guys going. And could be, he's second at Al Smith and sixth. So definitely in a good spot.
He is in a good spot. yeah, like obviously being a regional champ, you know, sometimes a lot of times it works out if you're the regional champ and you put yourself in that position. So he's taking care of business as it's gone.
Yep. And the bottom quarter bracket, Luke Powers, West Dell, looking to punch a ticket 26-2. He has Eddie Klein of Northridge. I know we got some stuff on him throughout the year. Had some solid wins, quite a few losses, but obviously good enough to make the semi-state rankings. Aiden Hunt from Garrett took losses the past couple weeks. Lost to Barry, then lost to Hunt or the Bear. So that should be, he's in a pretty solid spot. He's been wrestling well all season. He has Ryland Turner of Northfield. Could be a really good match between Powers and Hunt. I have never seen Powers, so it should be interesting to see how that shakes out.
And I know we've talked about it before. Hunt's a pinner, man, and that was one of the things when we talked about the Hanover and Garrett duel is just like Garrett, like Hanover's guys where they were good are good, and where Garrett's guys are good, they're going to get bonuses. And he's a guy that gets a lot of bonus point wins. Eddie Klein is a guy that had some really good wins on some guys in the bottom part of the rankings, but he's had some weird losses too. So, I mean, it might just be one of those things. He's a little bit younger. Junior is going to, probably maybe a year away of that. But, obviously he's going to be in the mix. But I know when I was putting in some of the results and kind of looking, Klein kept coming up as some of those guys. And I think he had a win over Morrison, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that was Morrison's first loss. And then Luke Power, one of the coolest names, man, honestly. So
his other loss is to Dwayne Harvey of Clinton Central. So I don't know if that was kind of a fluke.
Yeah. So Luke Powers, like Aiden Hunt stuff. That'll be an interesting match, 17-9. But it seems like the bracket worked out pretty well here.
Mm-hmm. And the Westell hasn't had a state qualifier since 2004, so it'd be good to see them, get a qualifier again. Obviously, Garrett's looking to get a punch a ticket and maybe even get to the finals right there, which would be huge for team points.
Man, when we don't have a state qualifier for a long time, we should have to look up what was the number one song in February 2004.
Yeah.
You start on this bracket. I'm going to look up the number one song in February 2004.
So we're going to start off heavyweight Isaiah Kuhlman, returning state placer, two-time qualifier, fifth place last year, undefeated. He has Corbin Buck, Yorktown, 16-15. They'll get the winner of Hayden Dillinger from Western and Lucas Lenson.
Banger, too. The number one song in February 2004. You know what it was? Were you still oh, come on, man. Were you still in the club then? Were you still out there with the dancing shoes?
I was still frequent. I went frequently team them, but I was going there every so often.
That's back when you had the fro or what? You had a little bit of fro going?
I had hair.
I know. I seen you post the Pick'ems link today or yesterday. I was like, dang, man, Joe's just going to hold on that picture forever.
Yes, I am.
The number one song in February 2004, Billboard Top 100, Slow Jams by Twista and Kanye West.
Oh, nice.
My pick to be Super Bowl halftime show next year, Kanye West.
Nice. So Hayden Dillinger has number 6 in the semi-state, Lucas Lentz. Now, Lentz has had some good matches this year. So he had some good matches with Diesel. Not exactly where you want to be put. I am going to say that, he's lost to Kuhlman. He lost to Kuhlman 8-0, lost to Diesel 6-5 and 5-0, then lost to Sommer. So he's had some.
Outcast too.
Losses for him, and they only have 3, so my losses are better. Kuhlman's looking real good this year. I seen him last week and seen a couple other matches. He's big. He moves well. I'm excited to see him at state and see him this weekend. He wrestled Diesel and, kind of just in control the whole time. Diesel's not an easy one to wrestle. He's very strong. He's kind of goofy and funky. You got to stay in your good positions. You can't let him do his things to you. So just really controlled. So it should be very impressive with Kuhlman. He has a couple good guy up to wrestle with in Woods. Return state champion there. So that should be a good one.
Yeah. obviously returning medalist, undefeated. He's big, man.
Yeah.
Like if he's not on the north end of 285, I'd be shocked. Fort Wade's good at heavyweight overall. I mean, heavyweight across the state's pretty good.
Yeah.
I know someone had said earlier, Cam Hazlett to run it back, and obviously he's number one. But it's a deep weight. Like I think like there's not a like one. I was like, oh man, like that's a terrible semi-state. But yeah, Coleman's going to be in the mix for sure, and he's going to give guys problems because of his size, and that he is like sneaky athletic for how big he is.
and one, I mean, heavyweight's also that a weight class where you make one mistake, you're done. I mean, it's not one takedown can decide a match pretty easily. You make, you get out of position one time, you're on your back, and it's pretty hard to get off your back or even make up those points if you do get off your back. So anything can happen there. So, and there's a lot of guys down that the state rankings there at heavyweight that could land on top at any time and shock the world.
Yeah, I think what did Hazlett hit him with last year in the quarterfinal? He hit like a boot scoot or a sweep single,
Yeah.
like just and like Hazlett moves well for a big guy.
Yeah.
So, obviously, he did a backflip into the splits.
Yeah, and Mike's gonna duplicate this year. This
Man, the splits part I can get is the backflip.
Nice. So going down next quarter bracket, Grady Baker, Belmont having a real good senior year. A lot of good losses, I guess. I don't want to say you ever have any good losses, but if you look at those losses, it's all pretty solid wrestlers. He has Braxton Vault of Columbia City, some Northeast 8 rivalry there. Vault, freshman qualified for semi-state at heavyweight. That's pretty impressive. That's one, obviously, he got a profile. He has a profile. We do not have his all 15 losses in there yet, but that's one to kind of circle and say, hey, this guy's going to be pretty solid in the next few years. And a lot of these guys will graduate, and he'll be filled right in as one of the better guys. Lucas Campbell Fremont, another young guy, sophomore, junior, Kale Dunphy of Northfield. Baker's having a real good year, moves really well, stays in a real good position, and will capitalize on your mistakes.
Yeah, I know. When I was on the High School Wrestling Weekly presented week by Hager Hirsch and Zelt, presented at the Double Eagle over the phone though, not at the actual Double Eagle. They told me I was way too low on Grady Baker. I know he took a bad loss early on to the Laporte kid, who I think he's out now, which kind of like moved him down, moved the Laporte kid up, and then obviously the Laporte kid had dropped some losses along the way that kind of pushed him down. But as it kind of settled, he was able to get back in. Was he 16 or 15? 16. But yeah, I think he's in a good spot there. I think he's tough, man. He's really good. So regional champ and the only guy with a state ranking in that quarter bracket.
Yep. Bottom half bracket, Kyle Sommer of Elkhart, number 23 in the state. Senior, Colton Sisk of Tippecanoe Valley. Sisk, I believe, is a really big heavyweight.
Tippy Valley used to come out to us too. You guys are taking all of our small schools.
Yes. And then you got Braden Lothamer of Carroll, number 20 in the state, and Matthew Albertson, Winchester. Should be a good match, good one there. You could have a 20 and 23, 4 and 5 in the semi-state. Lothamer and Sommer both kind of really similar, similar like resumes. Lothamer, freshman, sophomore champ last year.
Yep.
Taking some losses, some decent. I mean, not like bad losses, but losses. I've seen him wrestle for a while that I kind of thought he would win those matches, and he didn't. So obviously, pretty solid sectional regional he has to go through. Wrestled a good schedule. Should be interesting to see. Sommer beat Declan Guard earlier in the season.
Yep.
Then didn't place at a tough Al Smith. So he's lost to Hartle Road. He lost to Baker. He lost to Dace McNeil. Lost to Kuhlman, Hartle Road.
All guys that are still going.
Yeah, and he's had some good wins over Damon Stearns, Aiden Pageant. Obviously, we said the guard. So he's had some good wins. So
who's his four losses? You said Hartle Road, McNeil, Baker, and who?
Kuhlman and Harder Road again.
So three of those guys are regional champs, and the other guys are state semifinalists. So not bad for 4 losses.
Yeah, yeah. So he's tough. So that should be interesting to see how that shakes out. Both just very similar. Just when you look at their resumes, and obviously I see Carol Russell a lot, so I kind of have a little bit of an interest in how those guys are doing, and kind of see their their progressions. So should be interesting how that shakes out. That's probably that's where Lothamer wanted to be. Either that, I guess, on the bottom, either that or the other bottom half there. So
and coming out of the summer, I thought Lothamer was going to be a top. I think he's probably started like a top 4 guy, right? He beat Tony Brooks at freshman sophomore state. He probably started at least top 5. And like starting the year in the preseason rankings, 14th,
13th in the preseason.
Maybe not as high as I thought. He had a really good freshman sophomore state, like beat Tony Brooks, who was the defending freshman sophomore state champ. But yeah, like he's had some wins. He's had some losses. Like Joe Maverick's good. Reynolds is obviously good. Nolan Martin's still in the bracket. He pinned Ryan Dunnigy. C. Riley, I'm not positive. Lost to Baker, lost to Reynolds, lost
Cameron
to
Riley from East Central. So that was like one of those weird losses. Didn't really wrestle the best at Spartan.
Yeah.
So,
but he's tough, man, and so is Kyle Sommer. Kyle Sommer obviously beat, and it was a pretty lopsided match against the Cullen guard.
We do not want to match up with region. We do not want to match up on Friday night with East Chicago heavyweight. That is where we do not.
Well, I think heavyweight, and I was going to kind of get that, but like, you can draw Newcastle too, which I have Catfish, and I have possibly Jakari Markey, has Joe Maverick, not Joe Maverick, not Joe Maverick, but what's the kid from Noblesville?
Apple.
Jackson Apple.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's solid too. And then,
yeah, Markey, Dace McNeil. Yeah. I don't think, really, honestly, even you look at Evansville, you have Hayden Smith.
Undefeated.
You have Hayden Smith, Hank Redman, Keenan Mowry Shields, who's a big dude.
The tank, Hank
Manford, Osborne.
Heavyweight's good.
Yeah.
Heavyweight's really good.
I don't think there's any. The bad thing is you could almost see some of them. You could almost see it wouldn't be. It's not out of the question to think that one of the semi-states might blank another one at heavyweight, but it's not because they're that much better. It's just that's how the chips are gonna fall that night.
Man, I think the only saving grace is I think the 4s are out of the 4 semi-states. I think the 4s aren't like locks to beat a champ. Yeah. Like I think, but I can see a lot of 3-1s.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, but also, it's not I don't think any of those 4s are out of the question. I think the 1s and 4s are, like you said, but I'm not gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a 4/1 at heavyweight there.
No,
I'm not gonna sit there like, wow, I called that. I'm not gonna say I called it, but I'm gonna say I'm not surprised either.
But like that's what I was saying. Like heavyweight, the depth of the weight is so good.
Yeah.
And it's like luckily it's not where there's like, oh my gosh, that's a death draw, it's terrible. Like you've kind of like got it separated pretty good. We might like legitimately get, minus upsets, like anything can happen. We might like legitimately get the best 16 kids there.
Yeah. That might be one of the weights where you can say, of the top 20 kids, 16 of them are there.
Whoever wins it, dude, they're gonna have a go because it's a good weight class. You're running out 3 undefeateds coming out of the semi-states, and the one semi-state that doesn't have an undefeated heavyweight has a defending state champion.
And a semifinalist.
And a semifinalist.
And someone that just pinned the semifinalist.
And someone that just pinned the
And another semifinalist.
And another semifinalist. That has to be the guy that just pinned the semifinalist.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. And you have 3 guys that are represented, like Catfish is undefeated, Coleman's undefeated, Hayden Smith's undefeated, Cameron Hazlett's the returning state champion. I mean, and his losses came out of state at probably one of the if not the toughest national tournament, high school national tournament there is.
Yeah.
And he had a good showing in Super 32. He got killed by Mako, but I mean a lot of people do.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. So last quarter bracket of the Fort Wayne semi-state. Man, it's past midnight already. Logan
11,
Smith.
I was gonna say 11-11, make a wish. It's 11-11 here, but it's already passed. Sorry, guys.
Logan Smith, North Miami, number 8 in the semi-state. Mason London of Northwood. Spencer Smitley of Jay County, and another freshman at heavyweight. He has Diesel, turning state qualifier from Garrett. So obviously Diesel's looking to punch his ticket again in a good spot there. I'm trying to figure out who he wrestled last year at semi-state. He lost to, I don't know who he beat, but that's just year. Last year at semi-state, he beat Heiner from Southwood, who ended up pulling out. So
yeah, that sucks for Heiner.
Yeah, so should be an interesting match. Obviously, Garrett. I think Logan Smith has a pretty solid year, and obviously he's wrestling with Hoover and Hoover and Simon. So pretty good upper weights there, as you alluded to earlier, and should be could be interesting. I'll see whose losses are too if I can have them.
Yeah, and obviously we were talking about North Miami's going to make a run if they could pull that one off against Diesel. That could be huge for the team race.
Yeah,
I'm always sad when they were showing this like alleged assault at the Al Smith. The video, it doesn't have the audio, but you would hear me saying, "Now coming the mat, Diesel." Like that was actually a good plug right there. I thought that was good.
Yeah,
and, they whatever Channel 5 News or whatever South Bend News is robbed me of my audio fame.
Yes.
That's the real crime in that video.
Exactly.
The real crime is they didn't play the audio so they can hear me calling Diesel to the mat.
Yeah. So it looks like he's lost to Nolan Heiner once, the Clan Guard, and so he has 4 losses. Patrick Kinney from TRCE, Triton Central.
I told you there's too many Tritons out there, man.
Yeah, TRCE and Decline Guard again. So 4 solid losses.
Yeah.
So they'll be in the database in here in a few minutes. So that's Fort Wayne.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. Overall depth, I think, is really good, right?
Yeah.
Just solid across the board. There's going to be a lot of tick around matches. I think we talked about it at 106. Just the depth, I feel like, is getting better, where it's not like there's not a ton of blowouts in the tick around, or you're like not like a lot of flip a coin. I've never heard of this guy or this guy, and Caleb does a great job. I don't think we hit any quarter brackets that didn't have a ranked wrestler in it, which is good, for the rankings if we can, just hold up.
Yeah.
But Caleb does a really good job, and you can see that reflected in the semi-state rankings.
Yeah.
So I know he had a good showing, and obviously losing McVicker is gonna, hurt that a little bit. But I think percentage-wise, his was pretty high also.
Yeah, should be pretty fun. A good tournament. Excited to go. Obviously, a great venue. We usually get a suite, so we can kind of stretch out. I can have my computer out. I'm going to be watching all the other semi-states.
The sweet life of Joe and Caleb?
Yes, and others. So it should be good tournament. I'm looking forward to the team race. I think, obviously, Delta's the favorite, but, all the other teams are going to be gunning for them. They're going to be hoping,
Well, what Delta have?
I want to see a good close team race that comes down to, a Diesel wrestling in the finals or something, or the last couple weight classes where Garrett might need to win a third place match and, pulls it out. It's always kind of cool. I know a couple years ago, it kind of came down like that. And I think the 2 teams were wrestling in the heavyweight match. So it's kind of cool to see.
Well, Delta's 6, 13, 20, 32, and 30 and 44. That's their big guns.
Mm-hmm.
I think Garrett probably matches that, right? Like Garrett's going to have, Diesel. They're going to have Fielden. They're going to have Swathwood. Now they're going to have some other guys kind of pull through there too.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some guys in some positions where they're winnable, and if they're wrestling well, if they kind of get something to you go their way, that could be definitely in their favor. So
in North Miami, got a probably a pick me up at 13, but they'll be in the mix at 20. They'll be in the mix at 26. They'll be in the mix at 90, 215. I mean, it's going to be a good race. I think that's always one of the cool things about, and this isn't like, don't take this like in a bad way, but like that's one of the cool things about Fort Wayne is that you guys don't have the super team like Crown Point where it's going to be Crown Point, 197 and, the next closest, 100 or something where you're after the second round, you're like, well, it's Crown Point, so let's just see who's going to get second. Or outside of, Brownsburg or Center Grove, there's not like a lot of teams that are in the mix there at New or Evansville, and they can pound their chest and say everyone's so good there. We're the best semi-state. Like, yeah, cool. You guys got 2 nationally ranked teams, and everyone else is, hopefully wrestling for third, possibly.
Yeah. That's
it's makes for fun. One of those guys.
Yeah, definitely makes for a fun day to keeps you involved a little bit more, especially as a fan, and because you're also looking for those you're looking like, man, this match over here, when you're not usually caring too much about the North Miami match or the Garrett first round match. This might be very worthy of some attention. Belmont, obviously, like I said, they have 12 guys there.
Yeah.
Some are in some pretty solid spots that, they're winnable. That's you gotta be able to you got 12 guys still in the running, so that's gonna put you in a good position.
Is that who has the most?
I believe so, because I'm pretty positive, unless because Carroll sectional only had 998, I believe, for their top teams.
Yeah, I think
I know Goshen didn't have a lot of guys qualifying. I'd say maybe North Miami might have more, but that'd be negligible.
I think it's cool because I think it's like one of those things like you guys haven't. There's not like a team that's just like gobbling up all these wrestlers and making super teams.
Yeah.
Where it's still pretty spread out, and it's still you're not having to do a college roster to say where all your kids are from. Where they're what town they're representing for, whoever. I'm not gonna, for Calumet High School, which we don't recruit anybody. So,
yeah.
Or we didn't. I'm not representative of Calumet now, but I just didn't want to put anyone on blast of a team, and everyone knows who we're talking about. But it's just not that at Fort Wayne, which makes the team race a lot more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun. So looking forward to a great day. Yep, it is 12:20 a.m. We'll be back tomorrow night, 4 nights in a row. This is gonna be fun. This is fun, but it's also tiring because
and then you have the bracket reveal show on Sunday, so you're going to be doing, I think I did 12 hours of media last week, and you'll be doing something similar.
Yeah, we got 2.5 hours here. Yeah, we got 10 hours, and then another 2.5 by Sunday. Sunday, that is at 4 p.m. Eastern. 3 p.m. slow time. So that's going to be, I get to be able to be there about noon, I believe, is kind of the general plan, to peruse the brackets. And, it'd be interesting if you did like a document, like this, just the reactions to the brackets, like,
yeah. I think that would have to be an off air with some swear words in there, because man, it's like one of those things that would be tough to manage.
Yeah, it's always kind of cool. It's very cool the past few years doing it, as being one of the first ones that see the brackets and actually kind of understand what the ramifications are with them. Looking at team race. I know, like 2 years ago, seeing the brackets and seeing that some of the matchups between Crown Point and Brownsburg in the quarters, like, ooh, this is gonna and knowing kind of knowing how it played out and knowing beforehand, like, this is a match. This is given, Brownsburg doesn't have to worry about, a Garrett kid beating a Crown Point kid. They can do it themselves and make their life a little bit easier. So, but with that, we're going to get out of here. Thank you.
One more thing. And just like as we're going through the bracket, and every year there's something that it just feels like that. There was a kid that passed away. He was a semi-state qualifier. He passed away before the season, and I thought he was a guy that we had in the rankings. We took him out right before because obviously it happened before we released the rankings. Ethan Feike of Eastside. I think that's a kid that could have been wrestling this weekend. I think that's a guy that's was incredibly tough. I know he had I was on a couple different teams through the area. I know he had participated in some summer stuff. I think those are always really unfortunate situations because like obviously you're a dad and I'm a dad, and you hate to hear that, and like you have so much stuff ahead of you, and really good wrestler. Like I know it happens in a lot of different sports, but I just that was one of those things as you're going through the brackets, you know that there's a guy that could have been in the mix because he was really good. So
yeah, he would have been in that. Yeah, he would have been right in there and like in the mix of punch a ticket to state. So definitely. I know I've heard some people kind of say he was a pretty good kid and everything. Everyone liked him. So tough thing to that is one thing as a coach I never had to deal with, thankfully, I guess. And that was my biggest fear as a coach. I will say I don't care about the losses in the ticket round, losses at state or whatever. That was my biggest fear as a coach, is having to deal with that. And coaches that have to deal with that, that's not something you want to have to tell your kids.
Like I always, we joke around, but like I went to a pretty high school in a pretty tough area, and we lost a kid, not like on the wrestling team always. Every year I was in high school, like a kid in our school, and we only had a school about 550. A kid from our community passed away every year. We had a kid my senior year drowned in our high school pool. My brother's senior year, I had a brother and sister pass away. And I understand that that's one of those things that it's tough for community to deal with, and I know Eastside's not a huge community, so I know how, in retrospect, how it affected our family when my brother was wrestling as a senior, and the guys in the room that obviously knew us since we were kids. So, a guy that I know that would have been in the mix here. So just not like just one of those things like as you're going through there, and we talk about it, and you shout out all these guys in the bracket, but also remember, like, put it into perspective. There's a family that I think would have been there, and a kid that would have been there that doesn't get that opportunity, and it's appreciate every day. So
so thank you guys for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow night.